on the hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Israel-Lebanon talks will be held in Washington, D.C. next week after deadly Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon. This according to CBS sources. Reporter Linda Gradstein in Jerusalem.
In a statement, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the talks would focus on disarming Hezbollah and establishing peaceful relations between Israel and Lebanon.
The BBC's Hugo Bachega is in Beirut, where Israel has launched an offensive against Iranian-backed Hezbollah.
Hours ago, there were new evacuation warnings issued by the Israeli military for the southern suburbs of Beirut. And families have come here to Martyr Square in central Beirut, believing that here they are safe.
Meantime, the State Department says it has summoned Iraq's ambassador over what it calls egregious terrorist attacks by Iran-backed armed groups on U.S. interests in Iraq. President Trump is warning against Iran against imposing a toll for ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz after Tehran agreed to reopen the crucial route as part of a 2-week ceasefire. Trump says on social media that there are reports that Iran is charging fees to tankers going through the strait. First Lady Melania Trump denies any knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. In a statement made at the White House, she says she was never friends with the late convicted sex offender or his former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, and she issues a call to action.
Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony.
A federal judge finds the Pentagon in violation of a court order to restore access to reporters. NASA's Artemis 2 mission is scheduled for splashdown tomorrow evening, some 40 miles southwest of San Diego. NASA Flight Director Jeff Radigan.
The drogue chutes will deploy at 7:03. And then the main chutes will be right behind them a minute later, 7:04, and we'll see those 3 main parachutes come out, leading down to splashdown at 7:07.
Researchers in a rare study have documented what appears to be the first observed civil war in wild chimpanzees. CBS's Allison Keyes.
Over 30 years, researcher Aaron Sandell and his team observed a permanent split within the Ngogo chimpanzee group at Kibale National Park in Uganda. He told the Science podcast.
They rarely split. It's estimated to only occur once every 500 years.
The split has led to lethal combat and multiple raids between two groups that has resulted in multiple killings of adult males and infants. One expert says the hostile divide is a reminder of the danger group divisions can present to human societies. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Coming up, lawsuit filed against Washington's millionaire's tax. That's after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This one brought to us by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. 40 minutes now to get through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5 with a pretty solid backup from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal Bridge. South 5, just a brief backup between 520 and I-90. In Renton, we just cleared that stall north 405 just past the VMAC. It was there for about a half hour or so, and that's why we have a bumper-to-bumper backup starting at 167. So Renton to Bellevue, close to a half-hour drive, about a 10-minute delay. We've got a collision northbound on Talbot Road to northbound 405 there in Renton, blocking the right lane of the on-ramp. South 405 is thick from southeast 8th to Cold Creek Parkway, but we cleared out in South Center. Everett Marysville's at 15 minutes this afternoon. You've got a brief backup north 5 at 526, and then you're slow from the Snohomish River all the way into Marysville. And on the water, we have 1 hour wait times for drivers at the Mukilteo Terminal and Point Defiance Terminals. For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Filed today that legal challenge to the new state income tax on high-wage earners around our states. Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna says the newly signed law violates both the state constitution and the will of the voters.
This legislature is doing everything it can to avoid giving the voters a say.
Current state AG Nick Brown believes voters would uphold the tax.
If it went to the vote, it wouldn't bother me because I think the people would pass it again.
He says he's looking forward to defending the law in court. Police in Kent now say they have arrested one of 2 potential murder suspects. KIRO Newsradio's Jillian Raftery has been following.
Just before 10:30 Tuesday night, police rushed to a home near Kent Ridge High School. They found 2 people shot to death in a backyard. Neighbors said they heard some sort of argument, then the gunshots and cars speeding out of the neighborhood. Detectives spent all night gathering evidence and witness testimony. By Wednesday afternoon, a huge police presence, including Valley SWAT, converged on a location in Kent to serve a warrant on a 34-year-old man. He's now in jail on investigation of double homicide. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
An animal rescue group in California is offering a $25,000 reward for information connected to dozens of dead canines found on beaches in Skagit County. The reward is for tips that lead to an arrest or a conviction. More than 20 dogs have been discovered so far, starting on Guimas Island back on March 26th. An anonymous text message prompts a discussion about the future of the annual Pride Parade in the city of Snohomish. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports.
The text said, quote, "Quick poll, do you support vetoing the Snohomish Gay Trans Pride Parade on 1st Street this year? Reply yes or no." Well, at this week's council meeting, more than a dozen people showed up to speak their minds about the event, most in support of it.
Having Pride in this town specifically shows that the times are changing for the positive.
But this man urged the council not to grant the parade's permit.
Keep our streets neutral and family-friendly for everyone.
The council, however, is expected to approve that permit later this month. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
To your weather update now, clear skies and pleasant temperatures. We're seeing mid-60s across the map, upper 60s tomorrow. Right now, 64 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Good foot. Hey, John, love your show.
Oh, good.
Just wanted to give everybody out there a heads up on the scam that's going on.
Uh-oh.
Just got a phone call from someone down there at the border of Mexico.
Oh.
And asked me what my real name was and my last name, and they knew my address. And I asked them, well, what's this all about? And they said, well, they have a package there at the border with my name and address on it. And it has 1,500 Oxycontin pills in it. And if that was mine.
Oh, wow. Cliffhanger.
Wow, that's a tease.
Stay away from Tijuana and don't trust the donkey.
Oh, especially not the zebra-looking donkey.
Donkey. It's a Philadelphia thing. I'm still carrying with me. Donkey.
Yeah, you got a U in there from the Philadelphia.
That's a Philadelphia thing. We don't know what. Do we know if his drugs? Is there part 2 on this? We just left it. We don't know.
He must have run out of
time. It's like a Netflix show or something. Sheesh. We have to wait 5 minutes or something. Diamond in the news! There we go. All right. According to Joe, who has been down the rabbit hole for quite some time today. I smell rabbit poopy. Joe rolling around down the rabbit hole. Joe says this is news. Let's see. Jim Whitaker passes away, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it. And I interviewed him once, and I was just absolutely just overwhelmed with the humility of this guy, but the successes of his life. And I'm going to read from his book. And if you're not familiar with his book, highly recommend it, Life on the Edge. Let's see. Also, Cliff Mass is going to come by. And not only is he going to be able to talk about all the super El Nino and all this other stuff, the other great thing about when Cliff is on, dogs from around the Pacific Northwest are able to hear his voice and other dogs as well because of the tenor of his voice. He's able to... You ever listen to how low his voice can go? Yeah. Birds fly and everything is just, it's amazing what response.
Good.
But he's coming on to explain what, when they say super El Nino, should we all be running for the hills? Plus, a guy goes on television to apologize for something he said, and then he goes on to say it 3 more times.
And then does a follow-up segment.
To apologize for saying it another time. Plus, also, did you hear a bunch of cops, about 200 of them, have joined a civil suit against the city of Seattle? Get out the checkbook, everybody. The attorney representing the police officers will be joining us in the studio. And then Joe can't understand why Melania Trump holds a White House press conference talking about the Epstein files. You will be our guest on that one.
Oh, my God. Flabbergasted.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to look over at you one of these days, and you're going to have a heart attack right there. And then I'm going to have to get out the paddles that are normally used just for me, and have to clear, and then have to hit Joe because he's watching this Epstein stuff right there. Plus, have you heard of LGBTQ plus? But boy, they got one in Canada. I'm not even going to try that one. MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA plus.
You got to say it fast.
That lady's amazing. Let's see. Rob McKenna will talk about the income tax and the lawsuit. The gas prices. And then the city of Seattle approves more for the library tax, which then brings up it's just another $140. I'll explain it's just another $140. Oh, there's just this. Oh, there's just that. Oh, there's this. From 2016 on, I'll tell you how much you're paying in additional. Oh, it's just another's. You won't like it. All right. Let's see. I was thinking. About 500 yards from where I live in Cle Elum, there is an old abandoned graveyard. The stones that are left are unattended and they are faded. There are 2 verbs that are normally scratched in below the person's name, either lived or aged. They're curious verbs with odd distinctions. One to me seems so passive, the other seems quite active, to be aged or to live. Jim Whitaker passed away 2 days ago. He was 97 years old. I'm curious as to what they will chisel into the stone for a life so lived and so aged as well. May 1st, 1963, Jim and a Sherpa friend, Nagwa Hama, they summit to the top of Mount Everest, the first American to do that with the help of his Sherpa, his good companion. He then starts the REI store in 1987. Jim gets the idea that it would be great because there's just so much hatred and so much tension in the world. If we could get China and Russia and the United States to all summit Mount Everest together. So he goes to China and they said, well, we haven't had Russians here in 30 years. Why don't you go to China and see what they have to say? This is Jim in his own words about what happened when he went to Russia.
I said, what does he want? He said he wants you to know that what you're doing is the most important thing you'll ever do in your life. For world peace. He said he wants you to know that he lost 3 brothers and a father in World War II, and that the Soviets lost 20 million people in World War II. He wants you to know that the Soviet people don't want any more war.
Jim and the Russians and the Chinese summit to the top of Mount Everest on May 7th, 1990. They placed their flags up there. When Jim returns back home again, he gets a call from President Bush.
Hey, Jim, can you hear me okay?
Oh, wait, this is a call from the top of Everest. Hang on. Right, or from the base camp.
Hello, Mr. President. I sure can. Reaching the top of Mount Everest in the name of peace and understanding reminds all of us on this special day that there is no task that's too great for the human spirit.
I love the fact that he says, Jim would say, you never conquer a mountain. You stand on the summit for a few minutes, and then the wind blows your footprints away. So I'm going to read, this is from his book, Life on the Edge. Jim writes, when I think about what a blink in time each one of us is compared to the 4.5 billion years sweep of the Earth's history, it seems to me that the biggest challenge we face now is how to create a life of meaning. And that brings me to the yachts. Now, Jim is writing this while he is in port in Australia, and there's all these yachts there. People work hard to achieve what they and advertising world defines as a good life, but the goal itself often seems to keep advancing ahead of them, the way a horizon does when you sail towards it. Here at the marina, Impossible, that's the name of his boat, is surrounded by the trappings of the good life. They're literally hundreds of gleaming sailing and motor yachts, millions of dollars worth. Most of them are seldom used. Impossible, his boat again, and its crew are the odd man out. Our boat is our home, our transportation, our work, our lives. At this moment, ours is a working boat, not a symbol of the good life. As he approached death, my father, well, he said that he had had a good life, and he wasn't very sentimental about it. Now, you should understand the reason Jim is on the boat is because he and his wife agreed to underwrite a loan. The business went sideways because of fraud. And then the bank and the continuing expenses caused Jim to have to sell his home. It was a log cabin that he had built there in Port Townsend. It was more than 6,000 square feet, and it just became too much for him. So Jim and his wife and their 2 children decided, well, you know what, let's sell the house, and then where will we live? Well, let's live on a boat. So they buy a 54-foot sailboat, and they sail around the world for 2 whole years. This is a guy that knew how to handle adversity. He talks again about his father, and he says that his father, he said he wasn't a sentimental guy. He meant every single word. He certainly didn't mean to achieve great things or accumulate great wealth, but he worked hard. He loved a woman that meant the world to him. He raised 3 children to be responsible adults, made lasting relationships, had gone fishing, and tried to take pleasure from contributions, and sometimes he would enjoy the world around him. His life had meaning. Many years ago, this is Jim writing, when our high school yearbooks were being printed, every senior had to be asked what they hoped to achieve in life. His brother wrote, to join the Forest Service. I wrote, says Jim, to be an asset to the world. I don't think I really had any idea what I meant by that specifically. It was more of a yearning than a clear idea. Now, here at 70, I'm still working on it. In a way, my memoir is sort of a progress report. Here's what I've learned so far. First, risk is an inherent part of life well lived. It's a prerequisite. You stick your neck out, whether it be climbing mountains or speaking up for something you believe in. Your odds of winning are about 50-50. If you take risks with preparation and care, you can increase those odds significantly in your favor. On the other hand, if you don't stick your neck out, your odds of losing, well, as losing out on life's joys are pretty much close to 100%. This all seems pretty obvious as I write it now, except that we forget it from time to time and feel unsatisfied with our lives as a result. I think a life well lived is also inseparable from being able and willing to learn continuously. A climber who doesn't learn almost with every foothold and handhold is unlikely to be around long enough to have a life well lived. Learning is in a sense a flip side of risk. The last part of his book. Learning is what happens when you risk a journey beyond what you know and are comfortable with to something you don't know and aren't comfortable with. Some people my age act like they've seen it all and there's nothing more to learn. I'm still a learner. I'm a bit suspicious of comfort. I love this part. When people stretch out on a warm beach somewhere with a cool drink in their hand, or they sit in their backyard with a thick steak on the grill and say, this is the good life, they're usually talking about comfort. I like that too. But more and more these days, I believe the key to life, well lived, as distinct from the good life, is discomfort. In my way of thinking, discomfort, the discomfort of stretching yourself beyond what you already know or know how to do, or struggling with adversity, that's what creates the pearls in a well-lived life. Just as you take an irritant, like a little bit of sand in a South Sea oyster shell, it produces the real pearl. The pain of failure has value too. I think there's a sort of hierarchy of living, not unlike the camps on a climb. If you never leave base camp, you never get anywhere. Maybe you get to camp 1 and try for 2 and you fail in your first attempt and you just give up. Live a life that way, and you never, as they say, you never get off the ground. I'm going to leave you with Jim's final words right here. Then this documentary that was done. I love this. Here we go. You ready?
Whatever you can do or dream, you can. Begin it. For boldness has genius, power, and magic in it.
It's brave to try and fail, and it's hard to keep on going, but nothing's worse than standing by without ever knowing. Don't be a passenger on your own ride. Remember, you can always drive. No need to let the road decide where you're going. In this life, I swear, your heart will lead you somewhere real. But you gotta take the
God bless you, Jim Whitaker.
But you gotta take the wheel.
I interviewed him once, and I was like looking at him because I'd heard that often his brother and he used to switch if he didn't feel like doing something because they were exact twins. And Jim was like, he'd say, well, God, I don't feel like doing that parade. I want to do that interview. And just send my brother. So I sat there and interviewed him. I said, Jim, right? He's like, yeah, it's me. I didn't know.
How would you know for sure?
Well, I don't know, but I was like maybe he doesn't want to talk to me. But
sounds like something Jim's brother would say.
Yeah, no. I think if he knew, and you never wanted to confuse the two of them. But God, it's a great book, and it's a life so well lived. All right, am I used up all my time? Yeah, I did. All right, let's see. Cliff Mass joins us. Is he gonna poo-poo on this whole super El Nino thing? I think he will, right?
Maybe just the word super.
He doesn't like that. He doesn't like when they exaggerate stuff. He's a science guy in all this. We'll do all that, but first we'll have Nate check traffic. Nathan.
All righty, 40 minutes to get through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5. Typical backups that start at the Michigan Curve up to the Ship Canal Bridge. Those are pretty solid. Little break there in the middle. South 5, we've got scattered backups from the U District to I-90. We're pushing 25 minutes from Linwood to Seattle. In Renton, we've got a tow-on scene of that collision on the on-ramp to northbound 405 at Talbot Road, so this should be cleared momentarily. North 405, though, we are packed from South Center through the Renton S-curve. South Center to Bellevue has gone up to 35 minutes. That's about a 15-minute delay. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, we're at 50 minutes. And Everett to Marysville has gone up to 20 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, I've got my hip better. Went out for a run today. Felt pretty good. I guess hip's fine. The rest of me is sort of falling apart. Maybe I should go see Dr. Mark Wagner for my knees now. Because if you got a bad shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, knee, whatever it is, and your doctor says, well, you probably should go get surgery, you say, well, what about stem cell? Most doctors are like, well, I don't know about that. That's why you got to go see Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. You see, Wagner's been doing this for 30 years. He's done 20,000 stem cell procedures, and it is a 90-minute outpatient procedure. I had it done in the morning, and I came in here and did the show perfectly. Didn't I, Joe? Not one mistake. Yeah. All right, back to the commercial. Dr. Mark Wagner wants you to know that he is there for you. When you walk into his office, you'll see all sorts of jerseys of all sorts of great athletes. You're thinking, wow, look at these guys. They must go to Wagner. I'm going to go to Wagner. Here's what happened for me. I sent my MRI, my x-ray over. I met Dr. Wagner. He said, I've seen hips like yours. Let's do this. I said, yeah, let's do it. And I've never felt better. It's amazing. I'm telling you. Check them out before you go under the surgeon's knife. Go see drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about artificial intelligence.
I cannot answer that.
Many professions are using it, and allegedly some are even being taken over by it. At 1-800-DUI-AWAY, we know police are leveraging AI, whether it's analyzing body cam footage, reading license plates, or even facial recognition. AI has become a helpful tool, enabling officers to work more efficiently. And efficiency for them means more people getting pulled over. You can't chat GPT your way out of a high BAC. Getting legal advice from AI is no substitute for an attorney. Use AI correctly, or it can result in trouble, like a self-driving car taking you home from a bar.
You have reached your destination.
So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. If you get pulled over for DUI, the only thing you need your smart device to do is call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Rev up your life at America's Car Museum. Perfect for all ages. It's more than a museum. It's an experience. If you loved Ford versus Ferrari, see the real machines in the birth of the American supercar. Curated by Steve Saleen. Featuring legendary Shelby Cobras and GT40s. Enjoy cruise-ins, drive-ins under the stars, and next-generation race simulators. Grab the family, invite friends, and accelerate the heart rate of fun and learning. Plan your visit today at americascarmuseum.org.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Washington's lottery gives out a lot of green to winners in schools and retailers awesomely. Nearly 600 mil to people that play. Another 180 mil to vocational training and education from preschool to college. Now you got the knowledge, a win-win for all of us. Play Washington lottery, lottery, lottery. Play Washington lottery, lottery, lottery.
Visit WaLottery.com. Who benefits to learn more.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
Make this spring even sweeter with healthy saltwater soaks in a hot spring spa. During Olympic Sweet Spring Savings Event, save up to $3,000 on the hot tub of your dreams. Ends April 14th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. House Republicans blocked an attempt today by Democrats to halt President Trump's military actions against Iran. Washington Representative Emily Randall spoke outside the U.S. Capitol.
We need Speaker Johnson to call us into session. And barring that, I'm calling on my Republican colleagues to show up on their own, to come here and join us and demand action.
Democrats say they will force another war powers vote when Congress returns next week. In the meantime, that 2-week ceasefire is holding as Israel's prime minister now calling for direct negotiations with Lebanon. CBS's Ed O'Keefe reports those talks will happen in the U.S.
So much of this today has been focused on what Israel and Lebanon may sort out here. The Israeli prime minister authorizing direct talks with Lebanese officials here in Washington next week, CBS News has confirmed. That came, however, after the Lebanese health ministry said at least 300 people were killed in those attacks on Lebanon yesterday.
With renewed hopes of de-escalation in the Middle East, gas prices stabilizing. Some areas may even see a few cents decrease in the next couple of days. That's according to Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddies, but he says it may be short-lived.
Still quite a bit of a challenge, and oil prices back up 5.5% this morning. We are just under $100 a barrel again.
Average price of a gallon here in Washington is now $5.40. National average is $4.16 a gallon. Dozens of people ran away from a man with a switchblade along the Seattle waterfront yesterday. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports it happened in the middle of the day.
Police say the 38-year-old man was waving that knife around near Alaska Way South and Yesler Way around 4:40 p.m. Police ordered him to drop it, but they say he ignored them and kept walking toward the Seattle Aquarium. Officers used a less lethal tool on the man, and he did finally drop that knife, and they arrested him. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Amazon says its massive investments in artificial intelligence is delivering big results. In his annual letter to shareholders, CEO Andy Jassy says Amazon now brings in about $15 billion a year in AI-related revenue. Company plans to spend nearly $200 billion this year, most of that going toward AI. Jassy also saying Amazon could eventually sell its own chips. Amazon shares jumped more than 5.5% on that news. And to the real-time traffic desk at 3:32, here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, your Seattle Mariners have the update. 40 minutes to get through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5 this afternoon with our usual backup starting at the Michigan curve. It's a thick backup all the way to the Ship Canal Bridge. South 5, we've got scattered backups from the U District to I-90, pushing 25 minutes from Linwood to Seattle. Northbound 405 in the south end, it is packed from South Center through the Renton S curves. South Center to Bellevue is going to take you 35 minutes. That's close to a 15-minute delay. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes with your usual backup between 520 and the VMAC. Seattle to Federal Way will take you 35. It's packed from 405 just past 516. And Everett to Marysville, a 20-minute commute. You're slow from 526 to Highway 2, and then it's bumper to bumper from the Snohomish River into Marysville. Ichiro Replica Statue Night is tomorrow. Don't miss out. Get your tickets at mariners.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Now to your forecast. Looking at sunny skies right now. Another nice afternoon tomorrow. Just partly cloudy and then some showers on Saturday morning. Right now, 63 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Home Comfort Alliance when it comes to heating, cooling. Well, heating and cooling, we should talk to Cliff Mass about that. Plumbing and electric. And Cliff's going to leave the plumbing and electric part aside, but it's heating, cooling, plumbing like it's Home Comfort Alliance for you.
And I said, what?
Yes. All right, you ready? All right, so here. Heat waves. Thank you for that. All right, so I saw this. Joe and I saw this. These TV weathermen, these meteorologists around the country are just going crazy.
There's a growing chance of a super El Nino this year, and it could really change hurricanes.
Oh, super
season.
The eastern Pacific Ocean, that's heating up again. The implications for our planet could be historic.
Historic.
Some European modeling suggests warming could exceed 2 degrees Celsius, making it a super El Nino.
Super El Nino. People are freaking out. Here we go again.
New forecasting shows we could have the strongest El Nino
Hey, give me some of those big bongs at the end of these things. Hang on.
ever recorded this year.
Something massive is building beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, and it's about to supercharge the upcoming El Nino.
A weather pattern known as a super El Nino could be upon us later this year, according to climate scientists.
What is a super El Nino?
Yes, Turkey Lurkey reporting that Henny Penny is having some problems with super duper. So Cliff Mass, is it really super duper? We talked to our professional professor of atmospheric sciences. Every time I do that, and every other person ever has you on the show, they always screw that up, and then you always correct them. Atmospheric science of the UW, author Cliff Mass from the weather blog, cliffmass.blogspot.com. All right, is it really super duper? Can you put all this in perspective for us, Cliff?
Well, I think it's a little early to go for super duper, unfortunately. We've been in a La Nina. In fact, we still are like that. That means colder than water, colder than normal water.
Yeah.
And the models are suggesting we'll transition to an El Nino, which is warmer than normal waters in the tropical Pacific. But it's a little too early to go for super duper.
Okay.
In fact, most of the modeling systems around the world are not going for a super duper El Nino. They're just going for a weak to moderate one. There's one modeling group in the European Center that's going for the super one. And what we mean by super is they look at the temperature in the tropical Pacific and they compare it to normal. And if it's more than 2 degrees centigrade above normal, then it becomes a super one.
Okay.
There's another problem.
Okay.
Our skill forecasting El Ninos are not good in the spring. In fact, there's even a name for that. It's called the forecast barrier. Anyway, the skill is really very moderate right now. It's not till we get to probably July that we'll really have a good idea of what's going to happen.
Okay. Leaving aside, they should have done a better job. El Nino, which is the masculine for the little baby, and then the feminine it was a female baby, La Nina. But couldn't they come up with something else? Why does it have to be so close to the thing if you miss it? So this is extreme rainfall, historically 1997 and 98, 2015 to 2016. Extreme rainfall occurs on these things. And just going through your blog on this. So warm Pacific Ocean, that is the birth of the El Nino by late summer. So this is... You're looking at this big low pressure system. I was reading your blog earlier today. Big low pressure system for me there in California. That is what it is. But you say this stuff doesn't actually start to kick in, and we get some idea of how bad or whatever it's going to be. Not either good nor bad, but just as it is by the summer. Is that right? By July, you get a good idea.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Really, first El Nino and its opposite La Nina don't correlate with our summer weather, so we can't say anything about the summer. Its only usefulness is for the winter time, the fall, winter.
Yeah.
So, and you can't trust this thing until you get to probably July or August. Then we'll have a really good idea of what kind of El Nino we'll have. It's way too early to get revved up about it right now.
The hurricane season really never materialized, although we kept hearing that it was coming. With the situation, again, and not asking you to, crystal ball it, but if it is a super or if it is warmer temperatures, I assume we'll see just more hurricanes than we saw last summer. It won't be hard to beat that.
Yeah. So again, I just think we should refrain from these predictions at this point.
Okay.
Because we really don't know how strong an El Nino is going to be. We really do not know. It's too early. And some of these media groups are just getting ahead of things.
Yeah.
The skill right now is very low.
Whenever you see these headlines or watch it, I assume you're not tuning into a lot of news stuff on television or whatever. Like I saw that you were talking about, somebody had said that 2023 was the warmest ever and it's all climate change. And then you just said, well, What about the volcano, right? The old Tonga volcano that erupted in 2022 that threw all of the ash up there and then also created a blanket sea. So you said that was more responsible rather than human beings, because you look at overall the complete amount of time it takes. These things don't go up and then go back down again. It has to be something other than CO2.
Right. So that was an example where we needed to be more careful. There was this big warming in 2022. And people saying, this is the end of the world. This is El Nino, okay, is doing it. But then a few years later, it all of a sudden cooled off, and it's been cooling the last few years. So we had this spike of warming, and that is not the signal of global warming. Global warming should be a steady warm-up, okay? This spike of warming is not what you look for. And it turns out that there's a good chance this was due to a gigantic volcano in the tropics that ejected huge amounts of water vapor into the stratosphere. And it turns out water vapor is a super greenhouse gas. You think CO2 is good? Water vapor is better, okay? And this injected amazing amounts of water vapor into the stratosphere, and that could have explained some of the warming. So you just got to be very careful for these short-term spikes of temperature.
Do you ever get involved in any of that the betting stuff that was it cash?
Polymarket?
You do any polymarket action over there, Cliff? You get into there?
No. Maybe I should know. Gambling is something that I'm not doing. You know, I like to forecast, but I don't put money on it.
Right. The last piece, as long as we have you here, you ever anybody give you a hard time like, hey, Cliff, you said it was going to be a warmer summer. It turns out not to be that warm. Does anybody ever throw it back in your face?
What, my forecast?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. The extended forecast, the skill is not great.
Yeah.
No matter what. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. We don't have good skill in long-term forecasts. But the short-term forecasts have gotten so good.
Yeah.
Most people are admitting it. You know, things have changed over the last 30 years. We've gotten immensely more skillful in forecasting. So the short-term forecast, people don't complain much anymore because we've gotten so good at it.
Yeah. And then the last final question, as long as I keep you on it, although the sound is not that great. I know we had a really limited amount of snow, so we don't have the snowpack. So then we don't have the runoff. We're not able to capture. I was seeing in California, they're really good about reservoirs and capturing both rain and snow that would happen there in Tahoe. We don't seem to store the rain like we probably should, because now we're hearing about drought conditions for farmers in eastern Washington.
Right. Although I don't think it's going to be so bad for eastern Washington, quite frankly, because we did get a lot of rain and the reservoirs are just very full. They're topped off right now.
Okay.
So, and there's going to be very wet conditions the next few weeks. So I think the farmers will actually be okay. So I don't think there'll be. Well, one thing is true. We don't have enough reservoir capacity.
Yes.
California has multi-year capacity. They have gigantic storage.
Yeah.
And we don't have it. We really need to invest in more reservoirs.
Well, listen, I'm going to keep you abreast of the fact that yesterday I started my journey to growing the biggest pumpkin ever. I'm going over for a 1,700 pounder. So, Cliff, I need a lot of sun. I got the moisture. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Well, I wish you luck.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, I can't give you any real prediction for the summer.
I don't need it, Cliff. I'm going to name the pumpkin after you. Okay. It's going to be called Cliff.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds great.
Okay, good. I'll keep you abreast. I'll show you some pictures. We expect anywhere between, 60 to 80 pounds a day the thing's going to gain?
60 a day, yeah.
60 a day. It's going to be the Cliff Mass pumpkin. All right, I'll send you pictures. Thank you, Cliff. Thanks for your time.
Sir.
All right, taking with traffic over there with Nathan.
Seattle Sports has the update. Westbound 90 inside the Mount Baker Tunnel. We've got a collision block in your right lane. Looks like they're getting ready to clear this, but in the meantime, we've got a bumper-to-bumper backup starting from Mercer Island. North 5, we're solid from the Michigan curve past I-90 in downtown Seattle. You catch a little break and then solid again from Mercer across the Ship Canal. 40 minutes to commute through downtown. South 5, scattered backups from Northgate in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle is going to take you 25 minutes. Northbound 405 in the south end, we're seeing progress. Scattered backup still from South Center through the Renton S curves, but South Center to Bellevue has improved to 25 minutes. Everett to Marysville pushing 25 minutes with building volumes between 526 and 529. Gets really heavy once you get to the Snohomish River. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nathan. I know what it's like. You watch the hair begin to thin, then that crown disappears. And that hair loss just to rob you of your identity. That's how I felt before I visited Advanced Hair, say 14 years ago. I went there because they've got a simple one-day treatment. They regrew my own natural hair, and they do the exact same thing for you. Because you're either going bald or you are bald, and you want your hair back, and you just don't want to deal with, I don't know, shaving your head or a collection of hats or a comb over or something else or a toupee. So do this. Make a phone call to Advanced Hair, a free consultation and $250 off and $250 free hair graft wait you at 425-449-8185. You don't want to wait because your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. And get this, Advanced Hair, this is the second year in a row, they're winners of the 425 Business of the Year. Give them a call. Check out the before and after pictures at Advanced Hair. The number again, 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Local news from local voices you trust.
Flights out of Joint Base Lewis McChord.
KIRO News Radio.
Questions about whether the Pentagon is deploying special forces to the Middle East.
The news you depend on.
Gas prices up 25 cents in the last week.
Conversation.
Then all of a sudden, Trump comes out, hey, we're having productive talks.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready for family fun and fitness year-round in your own backyard? During our Sweet Spring Savings event, we're adding Endless Pools factory discounts with our already incredible savings. That means you can enjoy up to $16,500 off your dream swim spa. Don't wait. These amazing savings end April 14th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Whether you've done some preparation already or you're just beginning to plan for your retirement, it's never too late to make sure you have everything covered. Elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayach joins me. You have an opportunity coming soon that will help answer some important questions, don't you?
We do. And every month we take 3 or 4 opportunities to go to the communities and educate people about what proper retirement planning is. The notion of retirement planning around having a hodgepodge plan, working with a financial planner, a lawyer, a CPA, a doctor, those pieces by themselves are not going to give you the results you want in retirement.
And you and the LifePoint Law team want to teach us about the Safe Harbor Trust?
They do. The single biggest financial threat in retirement is an uncovered medical illness. A Safe Harbor Trust should be a must in most of these estates, but is not.
Be a part of the next seminars in Olympia on April 9th or Federal Way on April 11th. Attendance is free, and the information will save you thousands. Sign up now at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
Clogged gutters? Not anymore. K-Guard by Guardian keeps leaves out, water flowing, and your home protected year-round. No maintenance, no rust, just lasting peace of mind. Guardian Roofing, the original Make Your Roof Last company. Visit guardianroofing.com.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community. Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community. Not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, Malcolm Marcus Casino Resort Text 1-888-973-5476. Oh, or welcome. Okay. I guess this guy just thought it was. He used the expression, and then somebody wrote in, and it's basically at the time when they go to castrating the bulls and stuff like that, or and
never
then
heard it.
Come on, you never heard the what?
I never.
Okay, here he is. This is Kyle Clark. And the name of the show is the host of a TV show called Next with Kyle Clark. Okay, there we go. I guess that sums it all up. Here's the problem.
I recently referred to painful state budget cuts as nut-cutting time down on the ranch. Some of you appreciated that. A viewer named Debbie wrote in to say that that was deeply offensive. So I will not say it again. Debbie has ruined it for everyone. Use whatever descriptor you like. Taking $1.5 billion out of the state budget is going to involve slicing some sensitive areas.
There you go.
Oh, I see what
you see the old castrating time, right? It's the mountain oysters.
Rocky
Mountain oysters, yeah. I had to cover that once. Yeesh, God. And then the next episode, he decides he's going to go back on again because I guess he got a lot of, people loving on it.
Lots of viewer feedback tonight about...
Viewer feedback? Where is the show? I mean,
I don't know.
What is the Kyle, next to Kyle? Is he doing this from his basement? A lot of viewer feedback from my mom who lives upstairs.
KUSA in Denver.
Oh, KUSA.
No,
I had a job offer there.
Oh, my.
Oh.
The phrase nut cutting, and the viewer named Debbie who wrote in very offended about it.
Yeah.
Steven says, Kyle, you always get the one who has to be offended on real world stuff. However, those of us who ranch know and understand and appreciate it. Thanks for being real. This note from Debbie, I did a double take, not that Debbie.
Oh.
Many of my friends know that Next is my favorite television show. I can't have them thinking it was this Debbie who was offended by nut cutting. As someone who grew up on a livestock farm, I found it to be quite appropriate. So let us set the record straight. The Debbie who was offended by the phrase nut cutting and got it banned from Next is not the Debbie you know.
Okay.
See you next time.
That's KUSA. All right. Yeah, I had a job offer there. Went in there and sat down with a news director, and then his name is Nichols, Mike Nichols, something like that. He was the anchor, or he's the meteorologist. We're having lunch, and I guess he's going to test me. And I don't crap about the weather.
You're a fake weather guy, right?
Yeah.
A presenter.
Yeah. So he goes, we're sitting there having lunch. He goes, let me throw one at you here, just see what you do with this one. Barometer, let's say 29.95. It's falling. We got winds out of the northwest. We got a low, maybe an included front that has just passed. Forecast next 24 hours for me. And I went, let's see, what day is it? And he goes, what day is it? I go, yeah, what day is it? And he goes, well, I don't know. It doesn't matter what day it is. I'm giving you the included front. I go, no. It's important to know what day it is. Is it Thursday? Well, why? I said, well, if it's Thursday, I'm going to say partly sunny by Saturday. Well, what are you basing that on? He was really offended. I go, basing on the fact that people need something to look forward to for the weekend. That's what I'm basing it on. You got to give them some hope.
Come on,
got to get a little hope. And he looked at the news director. He goes, we can't hire this guy. This is an insult to the science. As far as you can clear everything off the table. And I was like, look, I never said he was a meteorologist. So they called back and they said, listen, we'll send you to college. We'll send you to Boulder, University of Boulder, to take class. I said, I am dumb on this stuff. I don't know how to, I don't know the science. I don't know how to read any of that stuff. I don't want it. Calls back again. Look, you could take classes at night. We really want you. You could become a meteorologist. I don't want to be a meteorologist. I got to work with that blank hole.
Good call.
Nuts. I think he's still there.
Really?
I don't know. I saw a clip of him. See with the KUSA weatherman. He can't still be there. Well, this is outrageous. We can't hire him. And they didn't. Is he still there?
Wait, you turned it down, or
I turned it down.
Okay,
I thought we could go to college to be a weatherman.
You should call him live on the air.
Yeah, get him to apologize?
Yes.
He's not there anymore, right? Nichols?
Hang on. I got a lot of reporters here.
No. He can't be retired. Just look under that. Look under.
Weather Impact Team? No, they're all young.
He's gone. He's
females.
gone. He's gone. Yeah, he's retired. He'll live his life. All right, here comes Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
All right, we cleared our crash westbound 90 inside the Mount Baker Tunnel. You're left with a bumper-to-bumper backup heading into the Mercer Lid, but you'll clear out as you cross the lake. Right now, it's taking you a half hour, though, from Bellevue into Seattle on I-90. 20 minutes on westbound 520, which is wide open until you reach Montlake. North 5 through Seattle, we're solid from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal. It's about 40 minutes to get through all this. South 5, we've got scattered backups from Northgate into downtown. Seattle to Everett, 45 minutes. You're slow from Shoreline into Mill Creek. Bellevue to Everett, 50 minutes. Slow from Kirkland into Alderwood, and then you'll hop into that North 5 backup. I got a brief backup through Canyon Park. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes, and we have a new crash southbound 405 at Cold Creek Parkway. It's in the HOV lane, and it's bumper to bumper starting near Northeast 8th. Right now, Bellevue to Renton, pushing 25 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Congratulations to KIRO News Radio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community. It seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO News Radio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve on KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
He flew fighter jets in 2 wars and taught you how to drive a car. He fed everyone on the block, but never shared his secret recipes. And every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. you need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. TurboTax helps you get your biggest refund, and then Credit Karma helps you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. First Lady Melania Trump speaks out about the Jeffrey Epstein case. CBS's Ed O'Keefe at the White House says it was unexpected.
She comes out and just immediately launches into this denunciation of rumors about any associations with Jeffrey Epstein. Everyone, where on earth did this come from? There doesn't appear, so far at least, to have been any kind of report coming or book in the works or some other documentary that would try to connect dots. There appears to be only just one email between Melania Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell several years ago in the Epstein files.
The First Lady is calling on Congress to hold a public hearing with Epstein survivors. What began as a search and rescue operation in the Bahamas is now a criminal investigation. Brian Hooker is under arrest for the disappearance of his wife, Lynette, while the Michigan couple was sailing last Sunday in rough waters. CBS's Christian Benavides has spoken with Lynette Hooker's daughter.
Does it add up?
No, it does not. Why is she swimming away from the dinghy? Why isn't she coming back to be on it with him? Like, why didn't he stop and put the anchor out and look for her?
Lynette's daughter, Carly, told CBS News she doesn't believe Brian's story.
Brian Hooker denies any wrongdoing. The ceasefire between the U.S., Iran, and Israel is hanging on, but apparently just by a thread, as Israel strikes Hezbollah targets in Lebanon and oil only trickles through the Strait of Hormuz, which President Trump posts on social media is not the agreement with Iran. CBS's Natalie Brand says here in the U.S.,
oil prices went back up Thursday, impacting small business owners like Tony Stafford.
Our biggest competitor now is the gas pump, and, every dollar that a person has to spend additionally at the gas pump is a dollar less than in the communities that they support, the restaurants.
Experts say it could still be weeks before gas prices start to significantly fall.
U.S.-Iran peace talks are set for this weekend in Pakistan. CBS's Michael Wallace reports the U.S. Postal Service is suspending contributions to a federal pension plan.
The agency announced it will temporarily stop making $200 million payments every other week for its employer contributions to the federal employees' retirement system. The Postal Service's chief financial officer says there will be no immediate impact to its current or future retirees. The suspension of those payments should save the cash-strapped agency about $2.5 billion this fiscal year.
With high confidence in all systems needed for re-entry tomorrow night, the Orion spacecraft is set to splash down off California. NASA's Amit Kshatriya.
Tomorrow evening, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, the crew of Artemis 2, will come home. They will have traveled 400,000 miles. They will have seen what no living person has seen.
This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Y'all came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
Coming up, that so-called millionaire tax goes to court. It's one story we get to after Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Your Seattle Mariners have the update. North 5 through Seattle, we're packed from the Michigan Curve all the way to the Ship Canal Bridge. Got a little break there in the heart of downtown. All in all, it's 40 minutes to get through downtown. State Route 99, a great alternate route. It's just a little crowded through the downtown tunnel. South 5, scattered backups from Northgate in the downtown, 25 minutes from Linwood to Seattle. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue. Bellevue to Everett are both pushing 50 minutes. 405 is slow from Kirkland all the way through Alderwood. And then I-5, we've got scattered backups from Shoreline up into Mill Creek. Everett to Marysville, we're pushing 25 minutes. It's crowded from the Boeing Freeway all the way into Marysville. Just sheer volume here. In Factoria, South 405 at Cold Creek Parkway, a crash still takes up the HOV lane. We've got a solid backup starting at 520. Bellevue to Renton has gone up to a half-hour trip. Tacoma to Olympia, 45 minutes. You got a 3-mile backup through JBLM and a little more slowing as you head into Olympia. Ichiro Replica Statue Night is tomorrow night. Don't miss out and get your tickets at mariners.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Police in Kent say they worked around the clock to find a suspect in a shooting that killed 2 people on Tuesday night at a home near Kent Ridge High School. That 34-year-old suspect chose not to appear in court today. Prosecutors proceeded in his absence.
The state's request is for the court to find probable cause for 2 counts of murder in the second degree, the firearm enhancement.
The judge did find probable cause, set bail at $5 million. The suspect has not yet been formally charged. Pierce County detectives have identified human remains. They were found back in January near Spanaway. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Sun with the updates.
The Pierce County Sheriff's Office says the remains belong to 21-year-old Aiden Spear. Deputies say Spear went missing back in 2022 after she left home to meet up with her mom, but never showed up. The Sheriff's Office says her remains were found in a wooded area of JBLM near Spanaway that is accessible to the public. If you have any information about Spears' disappearance, you're asked to call the Pierce County Sheriff's Office.
Opponents of a state income tax for millionaires are formally challenging the law, filing suit today. Here's KIRO News Radio's John Repp.
Former Attorney General Rob McKenna is leading the legal challenge and says even supporters of the tax know this is unconstitutional.
They seem to believe that the members of the current Supreme Court will do what they were unable to do themselves, which is to amend the Constitution.
State Attorney General Nick Brown says he's looking forward to defending the law in court, but he believes voters in the state would also applaud having millionaires pay their fair share.
We will defend the law as it is. If it actually went to the ballot, I'm not sure the people who are opposing this law would actually be happy with the result.
John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle Kraken CEO vows to turn things around after yet another disappointing season. Todd Leiweke addressing the media today after announcing the team is parting ways with Ron Francis, the Kraken's president of hockey operations.
No one is satisfied. We have not delivered on the promise of this team.
Kraken are headed toward playoff elimination for the 3rd consecutive season. Leiweke says moving on from Francis was a mutual decision. Now to your weather updates. Looking at clear skies right now. Plenty of sunshine for tomorrow again. Increasing clouds tomorrow night ahead of some rain on Saturday morning. Right now, 64 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Let's get off to a
And
good
I
start.
said, well, no, I don't buy pills. I'm kind of high on the Lord. And then they says, well, we would sure like to know when you're home, and we would like to come over and talk to you. And I says, well, that's fine. I'm a truck driver, and if I'm not home, you're more than welcome to put the package up against the door. There's a hole there, and if you hold the package in the hole in the door. I have trained my dog, who, by the way, is registered voter in the state of Washington.
Okay.
That's okay to do that. The Democrats said it's okay.
You're hard. I get paid to listen to this. That guy, so if you were listening to the beginning of the show earlier, he started the story, and then Andrew cut him off, and then we went, now that's part 2 of it. So you got a box of oxycodone from Mexico. I'm in Mexico, so there's a bunch of drugs down here, and then we stop now. Apparently, he's telling them to drop it off, and his dog is registered. Is that the end of it? Is that
Nope.
No. Oh my
There's
God!
one more.
All right. For about 3 years, we've been sitting on a story here at KIRO Radio. Is our attorney buddy, well, actually before that, before I bring you on. So my friend Sergeant Hockett, Dave Hockett, he noticed going back, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago or something, maybe even longer than that when he was told working there, it was the West Precinct, right? West Precinct. They used to say to him, hey, listen, they told all the cops, do all your paperwork downstairs. It'll make it a lot easier. You got your computer down there. Just do all that. Well, while the cops are down there in the basement there with all the other cars, they're so advanced, these cars are, that they have to turn on and turn off again in order to recharge the batteries. Well, of course, those are the advanced cars that they're driving around in, but the heating and cooling and the HVAC system is not advanced. So what happens is you have a buildup of carbon monoxide. Well, while Sergeant Hockett is sitting in his car and he's typing, he notices he gets a little bit of a headache and gets a little lightheaded. He says, this isn't healthy. So then he talks to the other cops. They're like, yeah, this isn't good. So then Dave, being a sergeant, looking out for his guys, goes out and buys a carbon monoxide tester, and he buys the most expensive he can get because he really wants it to be able to give good numbers. And he starts taking pictures of it, and he's keeping track. He's got the time and the date. He takes the paperwork to his superiors. He says, guys, the stuff down there isn't clean. The air isn't good. Here, look at this level. Look at this level. And these are the different times, and everybody's reporting. Well, he gives it to the people, and he figures at that point they would step in and say, well, this is unhealthy for other officers, and now they're made aware of the fact that there's carbon monoxide down there, and it could be dangerous, and it maybe could even be lethal for these officers if they're going out onto the street onto a call and they're lightheaded or they're having trouble dealing with stress. This could be really a bad situation. You would think at that point the Seattle Police Department would step in and say, we got to do something, make sure that our officers are healthy. That is their responsibility as their employer. Well, yes, truly, they did nothing. And when Hockett, who happened to also try to be applying for transfers, he, wanted to get out of being on patrol there. So he tried to get to the mounted patrol because he knows how to ride a horse. He's from Oregon. They're like, nope. And then Hockett says, well, how about Harbor? I transfer to Harbor. Nope. He finds it kind of strange because he's got a really good record. And when he does say, well, listen, I think it's odd that I'm not making these advances, he ends up getting an attorney involved. And that's where Samir Singlet comes in. And that's where you are, because you and I have been talking about this story for 3 years. And Hockett kept saying to me, don't do anything. Wait till Samir brings this thing forward. So I've set it up somewhat clunkily, but you get the basic idea. I've got some of the facts together there, right? So what happens when you come in and you are working with Sergeant Hockett? What do you find?
So, John, you got a lot of the facts.
Okay, good.
You got a lot of the facts there.
Okay.
So Sergeant Hockett and I started working together, and we started working together in 2020, 2021 for his lawsuit.
Okay.
And then we took that all the way to a jury trial. And in that jury trial, what the jury found was, the city was in fact negligent, and it was harming its officers who were down there in the underground garage being exposed to carbon monoxide. And Sergeant Hockett became essentially the test case. Even the lawyers on the other side agreed that he's the test case. For now, what we have is a class action lawsuit.
But aren't there two kind of stink bombs on this? So the hostile work environment. So you guys end up getting, through disclosure and discovery, you find out there's emails. So when he goes to apply for a transfer to another department, they're like, oh, that's the guy with the carbon monoxide thing. Screw him. Not their words, but I don't know if they said that or not. That they wouldn't advance him because he was a troublemaker.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. He was having pictures left on his cubicle. He was being called all sorts of names. He was pretty much, as they joked around, he was dead man walking in the precinct. So he couldn't advance anywhere. And that was one of the claims that we brought. And the jury agreed that he was subject to a hostile work environment because he kept on raising the issue of carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
So,
well, he's a very sensitive individual, too.
He's a great guy.
I know. I'm only kidding. He is a great guy. Listen,
he's also a giant. I can't imagine other cops making fun of him.
Well, who else was making fun? But so was it when in Discovery, did you actually see that they were saying that we're not going to advance this guy? Did they actually write that? Were they that dumb to write out, this is the guy with the carbon monoxide, don't advance him?
It wasn't that bad. But before I go, I mean, I just want to say Sergeant Hockett is a commendable officer.
Yes, he is.
And one of the things that the jury noted that we pointed out is the the series of commendations he's gotten. I mean, let me put it this way. This man saves lives.
Yes, he does.
We had videos of him saving lives and getting somebody off of the Aurora Bridge when they were trying to commit suicide, him saving lives of somebody who was overdosing. Then he administers naloxone
He's
to
a
them.
great guy. I watched him. I was doing ride along one night. I watched him talk to a guy that was trying to kill himself.
Yeah.
And he said, Curly, you wait in the car. Oh, and he gets in the car and said, how was it? He goes, I don't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Great guy. All right, go ahead.
With that, what we found was the command staff was pretty much everybody's a cop. They know how to document stuff. But what we could find was the command staff definitely was singling out Sergeant Hockett and saying, this is the guy. He's a troublemaker. You need to make sure that you take care of him. And then his direct command staff would bring him into the office, shut the door, and basically yell at him. And he would come out, and we had other officers testify that he would walk out of that closed-door meeting, shoulders drawn, head down, and just completely drained of all energy to do the work.
Yeah.
And that's why they found hostile work environment for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he kept going. And again, I knew because I would talk to him all the time. He kept going. And I said, what? Dave, just quit. Just quit. And he goes, no, I signed up to help people.
Yeah.
And that's how he is. Then he got to a point once he got you involved and they went to court and then they find out. So there's two. So one is the hostile work environment, but the other one is it's an unhealthy working environment because of the carbon monoxide, which now leads us to the fact that there's a civil suit.
There's a civil class action suit that the class was certified. That means that the judge has said that, yes, there is a class of people that qualify as being harmed who are officers worked in the West Precinct. The city tried to dismiss the case on procedural grounds. The Court of Appeals just 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, said, nope, that's not going to work. Go ahead and try your lawsuit. So now we're on our way. We're going to try the lawsuit. We're going to get all the class members to sign up. And then we're going to go forward and make sure that the city actually recognizes that what it's doing to its officers is hurting them and it's hurting the public.
You can also show, didn't they bring some expert in from California to test the air? I think it's Dave. I remember the story. They bring some guy in from California to test the air. He then notices that they've jacked up the fans far beyond where they normally are. And I think he said, listen, you're changing you're moving the goalposts. I'm going to leave. You're wasting my time. Don't do this to me. I'm an expert in this field, and you're monkeying around with how much you're taking out of the air.
Yeah, that was our expert. That was an amazing evening where we go in, and before we went in, we told the department, you have to have it at the same environment as it is all the times. Our expert goes in, and the first thing he says is, hey, the fan is at high. And what I'm reading, otherwise, it's never supposed to be at high. So they're trying to circulate more air in than they should be. We had to go to court, and the court actually sanctioned the city and said, no, you got to do it again.
Yeah.
So when they did it the right way, the second time, one of the things the experts do is they do a smoke test. You may have seen it. They just take a puff of smoke.
Yeah.
And it's visible, and see if it moves.
Okay.
When he did the smoke test, and the jury saw this.
Yeah.
It just stayed. It didn't move at all, right?
Yeah.
And the argument that the city keeps making is, oh, no, everything is fine because we have fans in there and it moves the air completely okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, what are you going to believe? Your lying eyes, which is like there is smoke there, or are you going to believe the city? And the jury for us was like, no, we're going to believe what we see, which is the smoke is not moving.
Were you surprised? I know I just talked to Dave a little bit about it. I didn't talk much about it. We never brought it up on the air, although I did see it on Como, by the way. I think that also sort of hurt him was the city trying to go after his character during that part of it with, the hostile work environment. And it's just like, God, they're trying anything they can on this to try to knock me down in order to soil my reputation in front of the jury. And I think it really hurt him. And because he's a great guy. And again, he was kind of quiet on the stuff with me. Wouldn't say much because he knows I'd blab about it on the air. And we didn't talk about it for 3 years. We never brought it up. We never brought it up. So at this point, you have 200. Do you think more officers will join?
We have 200 identified. We need those officers to actually come in and join when we send the class notice. But that was between 2020 and 2023.
Okay.
Now we're in 2026, right? So we need...
Wait, they haven't fixed it yet?
They have not fixed it yet, John. They have... And I'll tell you what it would require to fix this thing.
Yeah.
2 industrial fans is all they need, but they won't do it.
Do they not fix it because that would be admitting guilt?
I don't know.
You used to work there. You worked in the law department there in Seattle. You know. Why don't they fix it? I mean, they're opening themselves up to even more people that could become sick.
Look, as lawyers, you give advice, right? But it's something that you brought up, right, is what the politics of that department, especially the Seattle Police Department, are any given time. They badmouth Dave, and they try to make him look like some officer who he wasn't, that he was just complaining because he was too sensitive.
Yeah.
And, he was like basically nattering Nelly or something like that.
Right.
And we've been telling them for a long time. We put it in the case with Sergeant Hockett. It didn't work. I mean, to this day, they can fix it. I don't know why somebody's not going there and doing it. I can't tell you.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like if you owned a restaurant and the ice machine had ice coming out of the bottom, that, and people slipping and falling and hitting their heads, and you're like, don't fix the ice machine. I don't understand it.
Right. I mean, let's use the example of your water heater, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your water heater, somebody says you need to have a catch pan just in case the water goes out.
Yeah.
Right? And if most people would put that catch pan underneath their water heater because you want to be just in case, it's that simple. They're just not doing it.
Okay, which is good for you because now, not good for the people that's unhealthy, but for you, it makes it so much easier to be able to go, look, it's there, it's still happening, the carbon monoxide count is still high. Or do you have other police officers stepping in with the same type of devices Dave had?
Not the same type of devices, but what the other police officers are doing is they're calling me. As I was driving down here, I talked to a police officer who was explaining to me that she's been working there since March of 2020, and she's going into her shift. We were talking as she's walking into her shift tonight.
Yeah.
And she says, I know I'm going to walk into that shift, and I'm going to have a headache after I'm done out getting my car ready to go out on the street.
Right. So, again, it's at the West Precinct. The cars turn on and off in order to recharge the batteries because there's so much electronics that have to be there, but they don't have the infrastructure needed, just 2 big fans, as you describe it, to be able to move the air up and out. So the officers sit there. Are they still being told to do their paperwork in the basement?
They have no choice. That's where their car is. So you got to understand, it takes about 20 minutes for an officer to get ready to go out there. They got to go in the car. They got to
test the cameras and
all that stuff. So imagine 30 cars, 20 to 30 cars running in a space where you don't have adequate ventilation, and you're there for 30 minutes, and you're going to get a headache. You're going to have those symptoms come up. When we are in an underground garage and we walk by a car that's running, and that's for maybe a couple of minutes, and you kind of like, oh, I smell car exhaust, and you kind of get lightheaded. Right. Now, that 2 minutes gets you that way. Now, imagine having it done for 30 minutes.
Right.
And that's in the beginning of their shift and at the end of their shift.
Because then it opens up to okay, so let's take the hypothetical that the officer sits in there 20 minutes. He's inhaling, she or he is inhaling this stuff. Then he goes out on a call, goes to get out of the car to go, chase somebody, apprehend somebody, and doesn't have the lung capacity. And then there's a whole bunch of other problems that go with this. I mean, this is like if you were watching this on television, you'd be like, oh, come on. Like somebody that would be in charge would fix it. So, okay, hypothetical again, but maybe not. And I'm not holding you to it. How big's the check going to have to be? Do you think that the city is going to have to write? I'm sorry, not the city. The taxpayers of the city of Seattle will have to write.
So let me say one thing.
Okay.
What we did find in the discovery when we did Sergeant Hockett's case were emails saying, look, the issue of the carbon monoxide is so bad that somebody is going to get hurt. That was put in an email.
That's from the city?
That's not only from the city, but also from the Seattle Fire Department. So those emails are already there, that somebody's going to get hurt. Now, as far as, look, I live in this city. I'm a Seattle City taxpayer.
Right.
And at some point, the city is going to, the only way we can make change at this point is for the city to pay money so that the policymakers do it. Sergeant Hockett, I think the jury awarded approximately over $100,000 for his damages. I don't know what each of the individual officers' damages are going to be, but the city has an opportunity here. I mean, they can work with us. They can try to resolve this issue. First and foremost, fix the garage. Secondly, compensate the officers for what they've suffered and maybe get ahead of it. But we're hoping that the city will do it. They're just not paying attention to it.
Is there an advantage for you because you used to be a lawyer on the other side working in the city of Seattle?
Well, the advantage is I understand what the Seattle Police Department does. I used to work in the West Precinct for 2 years, so I know that building. I was in that building for 2 years myself. It's changed. I mean, politics changed. We have a new mayor. We have a new officer. But I understand the inner workings of how command staff works and what the different ranks are, which helps me be able to communicate better with the officers.
Yeah.
It helps me be able to get trust from the officers instead of some lawyer who doesn't understand SPD or doesn't know what they're doing.
Coming in with a scarf on or something. So at this point, what's the next step? When does it move forward? Can we continue to watch Como News as it advances?
The next step is we're going to have a class notice. So we're working on language, and then we're going to go and reach out to the officers and see if they want to join or not. It's called opt out. So if they don't opt out, they're automatically in.
Right.
That's what it is. And the other thing I'll tell you is the next update, I'm calling you.
Okay. Talk is cheap, except if you're billing at $300 an hour or something like. All right, Samir. Listen. You held Dave's hand through this really, really difficult time in his life. You were there with him every step of the way. He's retired, which is not good for me because he's a big pain in the butt. Calls me every once in a while. We have at least dinner 2 or 3 times a month, and he needs something to do. He's got to get out there and do something because he still had a whole lot of caring to give this city, and they screwed him over.
Well, this is what I can tell you about Sergeant Hockett, Dave Hockett. Through this time period, even before that, he's become one of my closest friends.
Yeah, he's good.
And it was an honor to represent him and his family. You can have dinner with him.
Yes.
I don't want to hear him complain about it, so he's all yours for that.
All right, Samir, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to Nate. Check in traffic, Nate.
All right, John, this one brought to you by Bradley Johnson Lawyers and 1-800-DUI-OA. In Factoria, we cleared that crash south 405 at Coal Creek Parkway. It's on the right shoulder now. We still have a solid backup at 520 to the scene, so Bellevue to Renton's going to take you a half hour. Once you get through this backup, though, you're in the clear. North 405 slows through Bellevue into Kirkland, and then you'll start to thin out in Totem Lake. Bellevue to Linwood, 35 minutes. Seattle to Linwood, a little closer to a half hour. You're slow from Northgate in through Mill Creek. South 5, solid now from Northgate into downtown. Linwood to Seattle's up to a half-hour drive. Got a little more slowing through Linwood to add to this. North 5 was solid now from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal Bridge. 45 minutes to travel through downtown Seattle. Everett to Marysville, 25 minutes. You're slow from the Boeing Freeway into Marysville. And on the water, we have 1 hour wait times for drivers at the Mukilteo, Point Defiance, and Edmonds terminals. Serving the Pacific Northwest for over 30 years with hundreds of 5-star reviews, 1-800-DUIOA.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
ICE agents have now been deployed to 14 airports across the country.
Traffic.
Did they open lanes?
They just reopened all lanes of northbound I-5.
Engaging conversation.
If he ends this right now, it only emboldens Iran. That's a big, big mistake.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! JSN!
Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day for baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. Case in point, your ticket might be for the view level, but it's more like Skyline City. Up here, it's hard to say what'll take your breath away first. The gorgeous Seattle sunsets or the spectacular views of every incredible play. If you like value with the view, it's the perfect place to take quality time with the family to a whole new level. Literally.
A bases clearing, 3-run double. Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners' upcoming schedule is jam-packed with epic events. Be here for Ichiro Replica Statue Night tomorrow at 6:40. Presented by BDA. Humpy Shoulder Plush Night Saturday at 6:40. Thanks to Microsoft. And Randy Johnson Number Retirement Night May 2nd. Presented by T-Mobile. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Rev up your life at America's Car Museum. Perfect for all ages. It's more than a museum. It's an experience. If you loved Ford versus Ferrari, see the real machines in the birth of the American supercar. Curated by Steve Saleen. Featuring legendary Shelby Cobras and GT40s. Enjoy cruise-ins, drive-ins under the stars, and next-generation race simulators. Grab the family, invite friends, and accelerate the heart rate of fun and learning. Plan your visit today at americascarmuseum.org.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right, tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Charlie Harger here. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be 6 figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. House Democrats tried and failed today to limit the president's war powers in Iran. Republicans blocked the efforts. Washington Representative Emily Randall joined Democrats outside the U.S. Capitol, criticizing the president's recent threats to wipe out a whole civilization.
It's not okay that we are out of session while a president is threatening genocide.
Democrats say they will try again next week on that war powers resolution. CBS is at O'Keefe, meantime, with the latest on ceasefire negotiations involving the vice presidents.
Vance is expected to leave Friday for the talks scheduled for Saturday in Islamabad, Pakistan. He'll be joined by top Trump envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Iranian state media reports the country's parliamentary speaker and foreign minister are expected to attend the talks. If they go forward as planned, it would be the highest level face-to-face meeting between senior leaders of the two countries since President Jimmy Carter met with the Shah of Iran in 1978.
Finally, some good news for gas prices.
Some Americans are going to see some decreases starting this weekend. It may be a few cents here and there.
That's Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan. He says it's because of the hope of diplomatic talks. The average price for a gallon of regular in Washington now at $5.40. That is up 1 cent overnight. Amazon says its big bet on artificial intelligence is paying off. CEO Andy Jassy says the company is generating about $15 billion a year in AI revenue, largely through its cloud business. Amazon plans to spend nearly $200 billion this year, most of it on AI. And Jassy says the company could eventually sell its own artificial intelligence chips. Is the NFL overcharging you to watch the Seahawks and the rest of the league? CBS's Allison Keyes reports the Department of Justice is investigating.
Senator Mike Lee, chair of the subcommittee on antitrust, competition policy, and consumer rights, notes that the NFL is now licensing games to paid premium cable and streaming networks instead of to a small number of free broadcast networks. But the NFL says more than 87% of its games are on free broadcast television, and it has put fans front and center in how its content is distributed for decades. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Now to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Southbound 405 is struggling at 520 all the way down past Coal Creek Parkway, where we just recently cleared a collision. So Bellevue to Renton, we've shaved a few minutes off from our last report, so we're at 25 minutes. Again, once you get past Coal Creek, you're in the clear. North 405 slows from Bellevue into Kirkland, and then from Kirkland, you'll start to thin out in Totem Lake, and by the time you hit Canyon Park, you're almost totally clear. Bellevue to Linwood at 35 minutes. Seattle to Linwood, about a half hour. You're slow from Northgate through Mill Creek. South 5 into Seattle, it's now solid from Northgate into downtown. Linwood to Seattle up to about 35 minutes now, and that includes a little more slowing up in Linwood. North 5 solid from the Michigan curve all the way to the Ship Canal. 45 minutes to get through downtown Seattle. Everett to Marysville pushing 25 minutes, and it's slow from Boeing Freeway into Marysville. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
That's your forecast. Sunny skies right now. We'll see some partly cloudy skies tomorrow, but staying dry. Highs in the upper 60s. Right now, 64 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Spring showers? Yeah, right. More like spring sprinkles, downpours, hailstorms, cold snaps, flooding, and sometimes even a little sun. Spring in Western Washington changes day to day, even hour to hour. That's why you need experts who have decades of experience and the right tools to keep you weather ready. Watch KIRO 7 pinpoint weather forecasts in every newscast and on the KIRO 7 apps for your phone or TV.
Wow, Joe. Well said, well read. Bucky's Service Centers, they do your call right. Bucky's Service. Bucky's Service Center's been around for 50 years. That's Bucky's. Here comes Nate. Bucky's.
Oh, yes, Bucky's. Reminds me of the time I went to Bucky's. From the moment I walked in that front door, I was comforted from the big smile of Dana.
Bucky's.
Or was it Dana? Anyway, he's the man behind the counter.
Doesn't matter if it's Dana. Bucky's.
First it was my e-brake. Then it was my water pump, and then my sunroof, and then my steering rack and pinion. Finally, my steering arm and ball joint.
Good ball joint.
When it came time for the bill, Dana said, "Son, I got good news and bad news."
Was it Dana or was it Dana?
It might have been Dana.
Dana.
Or Dana.
Bucky's.
He had bad news and good news. The bad news was my bill.
Give me the good news.
The good news is Bucky's offers financing.
Bucky's Auto Service Centers.
You can do monthly payments.
Thank you.
Which I'm still doing.
All right. Are we out of time?
Yeah, I actually asked Andrew, hey, don't play a good Bucky song because I need some time.
Too bad. First Lady Melania Trump, as Joe puts in, inexplicably brought the Epstein story back into focus this afternoon by hosting at a press conference at the White House, denying rumors about a relationship with Epstein and Maxwell.
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein.
You let me know whenever you want me to stop it, Joe. Okay.
Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell.
Okay, do you want me to keep going?
Just a little.
My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
So the email...
Entering the courtroom now.
Let me start with the email that she just referred to.
Please just state your name for the record.
This is Joe from the Rabbit Hole. Okay. So the email she's referring to is what she calls just a reply that is just a casual reply and can't be called anything else. This is not a reply. She sends this email to Ghislaine Maxwell. Mm-hmm. Dear G, how are you? Nice story about J.E., Jeffrey Epstein, in New York Magazine. You look great on the picture. I know you're very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. To which Ghislaine replies, Sweet pea, thanks for your message. Actually, plans change, and I'm now on my way back to New York. I leave again Friday, so I don't think I'll have time to see you. It's like Elon Musk begging to go to the island. The second thing is she declines that there were...
Order in the court, please.
There was no relationship with Epstein or she wasn't friends with Maxwell or Epstein. Yes. Brett Ratner, the guy that directed the Melania movie, is everywhere in the files. The most interesting thing is this guy named Paolo Zampoli, who sponsored Melania's Einstein visa, basically paid to get her a visa to come to the United States. Yeah. Not only is he everywhere in the Epstein files, he's accused of murder. There's a guy that's...
Objection, Your Honor. Not relevant to the case. The murder, the jury will disregard that comment regarding murder.
This is one of her best friends. To this day, he appears at almost every event that they have at Mar-a-Lago. This guy, Paolo Zampoli. And there's a guy who his name is redacted, emailing Jeffrey Epstein saying that, please don't kill me. I didn't do it. I stopped doing cocaine last month. Paolo Zampoli's making things up about me. I know I deserve to be punished.
But who's saying this?
But we don't know. Their name is redacted. But he's begging Epstein to not kill him. Although he says, I do deserve to be punished, but not death for this. Paolo's making it up. So the people that, and then the list of associates that are just, top to bottom in the Epstein files that are connected to Melania is ridiculous. To say that they weren't friends is just an absolute outright lie.
Okay, the question is now, why now?
Why now? And I didn't know this, but you have a theory.
Well, there is a book that came out, Michael Wolff's book, and there's a lawsuit involved. But I don't know if that's moving forward or not. That started in 2024, 2025.
She also here's another one. This is the fun one. So,
are you going to do an accent? Are you going to read it like her?
But this is a private email between a redacted person and Jeffrey Epstein, and this is right after Donald Trump won the election in 2016.
Are you saying you think it's her that's redacted?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But they're talking about her, and not. And this is okay. This is private, redacted to Jeffrey Epstein after Trump wins in 2016. Okay. I simply cannot believe this victory. Nobody called it. We all thought she'd win. Talking about Hillary.
Yeah.
You must be happy though. I remember flying back with Donald on his plane the first weekend I went to visit you in Florida. He had just met Melania, and they kept coming out of the bedroom saying, wow, what a hot piece of boop. Anyway, it's nuts. I hope you're enjoying Saudi Arabia. Like, this is a private email. This wasn't some leaked thing. This is in the DOJ file.
Right.
This guy was on the plane when Trump and Melania had just met on Epstein's plane. So
listen, the past is the past. The thing is that now the president is her. She does this press conference, but then the question is why? So then people don't do press conferences just to call a press conference just for it is either to stop something or to redirect something in another towards some other narrative.
I mean, the last month and a half, the chatter about Epstein had dropped to probably the lowest it's been since these files dropped because of the war in Iran. Why now? I mean, everybody's talking about this now because there's so many inconsistencies and demonstrably false statements that she made.
She says it's time for Congress to act.
So that she wants the Congress to set up a hearing for the victims to testify, which they've already done and they already did. We want Bondi to testify. We want Blanche to testify. We want anybody else who's named as an accuser, an accused in the files to testify.
Okay, Teeny, hold on. Something must be coming forward for them to try to get this.
Has to be. This seems
because she doesn't like going out there to take the rebound on it. All right, let's go to Nate over there in traffic, checking traffic. Nathan.
Yes, sir. Day and night plumbing, heating, cooling, and electric has the update. South 405, we're solid this afternoon from 520 to Cold Creek Parkway. And then after that, you're going to clear out Bellevue to Renton, plan on 25 minutes. North 405 slows from Bellevue into Kirkland. Once you get to Totem Lake, things start to turn into scattered backups all the way into Alderwood. So Bellevue to Linwood, 35 minutes. Seattle to Linwood is down to 25 minutes. It's slow from Shoreline through Mill Creek. South 5 solid from Northgate into downtown. Linwood to Seattle, give yourself a half hour. Got a little crowding through Linwood to get through as well. North 5 is taking 45 minutes to get through downtown Seattle. Seattle to Federal Way, just 25 minutes with scattered backups from Interurban Avenue down to 516. This is starting to clear out pretty quickly now. And Tacoma to Olympia, we're pushing an hour now, 55 minutes. South 5, you've got a 7-mile backup between JBLM and DuPont, and then more slowing as you head into Olympia. This month, when you install a new AC or heat pump, you'll get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Schedule today at dayandnight.net. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nathan. I got to tell you something. Dr. Mark Wagner is the guy to see. People always say, I got a guy. I got a guy that does this. I got a guy. You got to use my guy. I'm going to be one of those guys. I got a guy. If you got a bad shoulder, elbow, wrist, knee, if you've ever used in a sentence that you got bone on bone and you got arthritis and a bunch of other stuff, I'll be the guy that jumps in. Oh, I got a guy for you. You got to see Dr. Mark Wagner. He's at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I went over there because I had a bad hip. I was unable to run, hadn't run in like 7 years. I'd done a bunch of marathons, a bunch of other things like that. And I guess I just wore the old hip down. Wagner takes a look at the MRIs and the x-rays, and he's like, yeah, it's bad, but we can fix this. I said, okay, tell me about it. He goes, it's a 90-minute outpatient procedure. He's done more than 20,000 of these things. He's been in business for 30 years. He is the guy. When people say, I got a guy for stem cell, they're talking about Dr. Mark Wagner. So if you do have a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee that's giving you problems, you're thinking about surgery, first think about drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Congratulations to KIRO News Radio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community. It seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO News Radio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve. On KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Spring is a perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of zero down, zero payments, and zero interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Contractors, equipment buyers, operators, this is the big one you've been waiting for. The huge Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, and Vehicles online auction. Presented by the Murphy Auction Company. Bidding is underway now and starts closing at 10 a.m. Thursday, April 16th. On the auction block, 11 excavators, including a 2018 Bobcat E85, 3 wheel loaders featuring a 2018 Cat 966M. There's 6 telehandlers and reach mowers from John Deere and New Holland, and lots more, like 2 Vector trucks, 2 Mack CV713 transfer trucks, 11 dump trucks, and 2 2015 Peterbilt 567 roll-off trucks. And then there's over 300 titled items, including pickup trucks, vans, and SUVs. Preview all items at our location in Marysville, April 14th and 15th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Get online and start bidding now at murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy 1 Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
I'm Carolyn Osorio, the host of the Shadow Girls podcast, a deep dive into the Green River Killer investigation and the only known survivor.
He got both hands on my neck. I couldn't do nothing.
Rebecca did do something. It was her tip that proved pivotal in the arrest and conviction of Gary Ridgway. Join us on April 9th for a true crime event, the behind-the-scenes story of how an imperfect witness finally got her reward. Tickets available right now at nwcave.org.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Muckleshoot Casino Resort Text Line 1-888-973-5476. A little behind the scenes. Joe told Andrew pull a bad song for the Buc-ee's thing so that it wouldn't take up too much time because Joe had so much to talk about when it came to Melania Trump. But then he pulled one, and it was like a cookie coming over the plate there. I mean, come on.
You can't fight nature, I guess that's the lesson here.
Yeah. When the muses are flying, right? They're just they take it right there. And when Nate came in with his, the talking part, I hadn't seen that before.
The payment plan. I mean, come on.
At the end, and then the different names of the different people.
Yeah, we're gonna need that later, Andrew. Make sure we got that.
Oh yeah,
I'll pull it.
Okay, fine. All right. By the way, you think the Democratic Party are super woke, or at least partly woke? There's nothing like what they got going on up there in Canada. So this is a gal. She's the Canadian MP, Leah Gazan. She's gone viral because she's introduced. I'll let her set it up for you. Ready? Here we go.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent.
Yep. They got a problem there. That's, again, the here it is. I can break it down for you.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent.
Okay. I'm not laughing at.
No.
So she's saying that there's a genocide going on, and I'm trying to find where you break it all down. It's okay. Missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls. Indigenous women, girls. Do you have the whole thing?
It is. Hang on. So Michigan Good Girls 2. I don't know what the 2 is. Do you have that?
No.
Okay, hang on.
That's just they threw that. May have been a typo.
Let me put it in here.
Oh, missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual, plus people.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't miss anybody on there.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQQIA+. This is abhorrent.
That is something else. By the way, they like tongue twisters up there. Toronto officials renaming a park.
Hence the name Eta Nona Wastina.
Yeah, they make it sound easy. Here's a spelling: ETHENNONNHWAHSTIHNEN.
It translates to where they lived good and beautiful lives. Learning to say the name is just a small way we can all be accountable.
Okay. Here's Nate checking traffic. Nathan?
Yes, sir. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both pushing 50 minutes. Once you get into Everett, starting to thin down a little bit. Everett to Marysville down to 15 minutes. Still slow, though, from about Broadway up to 529. South 5 heading into Seattle. It's solid from Northgate into downtown. Little crowding to get through in Linwood. All added up, it's a half hour from Linwood into downtown Seattle. North 5 is solid from the Michigan Curve past the Ship Canal. It's taking you 45 minutes just to get through downtown. Seattle to Federal Way, 25 minutes. We're starting to clear out on this commute. And Tacoma to Olympia, pushing an hour at 55 minutes, mostly due to the 7-mile backup we have between JBLM and DuPont, and then a little more slowing as you head into downtown Olympia. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Olympic Hot Tub Sweet Spring Savings Event is here. Now through April 14th, thanks to incredible factory discounts, you can save up to $16,500 on an amazing endless pool swim spa. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
This is Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland. Having trouble with the government agency? Tired of dealing with red tape? I'll help you get the benefits you've earned. My office is here to help you with Social Security, Medicare, the VA, passports, and more. We've recovered millions of dollars for taxpayers and stand ready to help you. Call me at 360-459-8514 or visit strickland.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo.
Your best source for local news.
Newly released police video shows the arrest of a 17-year-old.
KIRO News Radio.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it, they put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you. Guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
I'm here with Wes Jones of sellwithwes.com. And Wes, you were just telling me you think 2026 is going to be a rebound year for the housing market.
That's right. I think we're heading into the best real estate market of the past 4 years. And here's why. If you take a step back and look at the big picture, experts are anticipating a 15% increase in sales volume next year. Interest rates are at near 3-year lows and trending down, and home prices have held near all-time highs. There is a lot of pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their time to jump into the market since 2022, and they need a place to buy.
So, hey, 2026 might be your year. If you're considering selling your home, if you're thinking about moving, but there was something that was just holding you back, now might be a great time. So do this. Go to sellwithwes.com. You can see your home's real value there with Wes's home value calculator. Then schedule an appointment by giving him a call. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. It really just is a better way to sell your home.
Washington's lottery gives out a lot of green to winners in schools and retailers awesomely. Nearly 600 mil to people that play. Another 180 mil to vocational training and education from preschool to college. Now you got the knowledge, a win-win for all of us. Play Washington lottery, lottery, lottery. Play Washington lottery, lottery.
Visit WaLottery.com. Who benefits to learn more.
DUI? Felony charge? Trust Bradley Johnson Lawyers and 1-800-DUI-OA. Over 30 years serving the Pacific Northwest and hundreds of 5-star reviews. Every mistake has a solution at 1-800-DUI-OA.
1-800-DUI-OA! Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump is threatening to resume attacks on Iran if it fails to fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz. CBS's Ed O'Keefe has more on diplomatic talks taking place in the coming days.
Vance is expected to leave Friday for the talks scheduled for Saturday in Islamabad, Pakistan. He'll be joined by top Trump envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Iranian state media reports the country's parliamentary speaker and foreign minister are expected to attend the talks. If they go forward as planned, it would be the highest level face-to-face meeting between senior leaders of the two countries since President Jimmy Carter met with the Shah of Iran in 1978.
Sources tell CBS News that the U.S. will host talks between Israel and Lebanon next week. First Lady Melania Trump says she was never friends with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and calls those who have made claims to the contrary mean-spirited.
At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings.
She's calling on Congress to allow Epstein survivors to testify in public. A sheriff's deputy has been killed in Central California and a suspect is holed up in a home. The Tulare County Sheriff says a SWAT team has cleared nearby homes during what he calls an extremely dangerous situation. The NFL is defending itself as the Justice Department investigates whether the league is overcharging consumers.
Senator Mike Lee, chair of the subcommittee on antitrust, competition policy, and consumer rights, notes that the NFL is now licensing games to paid premium cable and streaming networks instead of to a small number of free broadcast networks. But the NFL says more than 87% of its games are on free broadcast television, and it has put fans front and center in how its content is distributed for decades. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
After their historic moon mission, the Artemis 2 crew is due back on Earth tomorrow night with a splashdown off Southern California. NASA's Amit Kshatriya.
We have high confidence in the system and the heat shield and the parachutes and the recovery systems we put together. The engineering supports it. The Artemis 1 flight data supports it. All of our ground test supports it. Our analysis supports it. And tomorrow, the crew is going to put their lives behind that confidence.
A former New York City police sergeant is sentenced to 3 to 9 years in prison for the death of a drug suspect. CBS's Michael Wallace reports.
Eric Dupree had allegedly sold drugs to an undercover officer and was fleeing on a motorized scooter. Ran through a cooler at Dupree, knocking him into a parked car. Dupree died of a head injury. Orleanis Velez is Dupree's widow.
3 years. 3 years waiting for justice.
Duran testified he threw the cooler because he was worried Dupree was going to crash into other officers. Prosecutors argued he was trying to save an arrest, not lives.
This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
Coming up, a lawsuit filed against Washington's so-called millionaire's tax. One story we get to after Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
Why, thank you, Aaron. Seattle to Everett, 45 minutes. It's slow from Shoreline, just past that Linwood interchange. Bellevue to Everett, about 50 minutes. We've got a new crash, North 405 and Northeast 8th and Bellevue taking up your right lane. So the commute time's going to go up here. Everett to Marysville, 15 to 20 minutes max, and it's slow from Broadway up to 529. South 5 heading into Seattle, it's solid from Northgate into downtown. Once you get into the U District, this thing really thickens up for you. Linwood to Seattle is going to take you a half hour. Now, North 5, we're packed from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal Bridge. This backup hasn't moved in the past hour. 45 minutes to get through this. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, it's a half hour on 520. About 20 to 25 minutes tops on I-90. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway down to a half hour. Tacoma to Olympia, 55 minutes. South 5 has scattered backups from JBLM through DuPont and a little more slowing as you head into Olympia. Everywhere else is starting to thin out already. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. Human remains found near Spanaway back in January have now been identified as a woman who disappeared more than 4 years ago. Pierce County Sheriff's Office says Aiden Spear was last seen when she was 21. More from KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
Investigators say she was often in the Tacoma and Spanaway areas. According to information posted by her family online, Spear was homeless and struggling with drug addiction and was set to meet up with her mom before going to rehab. Spear messaged her mom saying she was first going to say goodbye to someone, and then she wasn't heard from again.
Her remains were discovered in a wooded area near JBLM. Anyone with information is urged to contact detectives. We now know much more about a man arrested for fatally shooting 2 men on Tuesday night in Kent.
According to court documents, the 34-year-old suspect shot both men in the head at a backyard party. The man opted not to show up in court today and maintains his innocence. Here's Judge Matthew York.
The allegation here is extremely troubling, obviously. I understand that your client is asserting his innocence here still.
Judge York found probable cause for 2 counts of second-degree murder. He set bail at $500,000. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Multiple Seattle police officers are moving forward with a proposed class action lawsuit against the city, claiming they were exposed to carbon monoxide for years at the department's West Precinct. They allege poor ventilation in the underground garage allowed exhaust from the idling patrol cars to spread into nearby workspaces. Sumir Singla is the officer's attorney.
Imagine 30 cars, 20 to 30 cars running in a space where you don't have adequate ventilation, and you're there for 30 minutes, you're going to get a headache.
West Precinct opened in 2000. Singlet tells KIRO Radio's John Curley city leaders were aware of the risk as early as 2015. SPD says they take officer safety seriously, but cannot comment because of the pending litigation. And opponents have filed their legal challenge to the new state income tax on high-wage earners around the state. Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna says the newly signed law violates both the state constitution and the will of the voters.
This legislature is doing everything it can to avoid giving the voters a say.
Current State Attorney General Nick Brown tells us he believes voters would uphold that tax.
If it went to the vote, it wouldn't bother me because I think the people would pass it again.
Brown says he's looking forward to defending the law in court. To your forecast now, sunny skies right now, partly cloudy tomorrow, highs in the upper 60s for Friday. Right now, 64 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show.
Is this going to be part 3?
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Wait, stop for a second. Okay, 3 o'clock, we learned that this guy, he thinks it's a scam. He got a call from somewhere in Mexico. They said there's a box down there with 1,500 Oxycontin or something, pills. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, and then it stopped. Then at 4 o'clock, and then we heard that he then said, well, listen, you can deliver it to my house. And he explained if you want to deliver it, you can drop it here at the address. So
his dog would sign for it.
And his dog would sign for it because his dog is registered in the state of Washington to vote. Okay, here we go.
And so if you whistle, my dog will come to the door and he will put his paw print on the package, and that his signature, and that will be the note that just proves that we did receive it. So if there's anything else I could do for you, please let me know. Thank you. Love your show. Talk to you later. Okay. Everybody, beware. Register your animals. Republican.
Wow, there's a lot happening in there. Multi-level. Lots of things. Wow. Gee whiz. All right. Joe would be able to analyze that thing like the Melania press conference. There we go. All right. So Washington is going to hire 300 employees to enact the high earners income tax, according to the Seattle Times. I think the number we had the other day was $450 million in order to get this thing going, to get everything in place. The average accountant can handle about, let's say, they say that's going to be, because they say it's household. If you did individuals, because they say it's a millionaire's tax. It's actually Mr. and Mrs. Smith live in a house. Combined income could be over $1 million. Anything over that $1 million is taxed at 9.9%. You could have, you could probably get 75 to maybe 100 accountants could handle 25,000 returns. It's average about 25,000 returns. It would be swept up in this unconstitutional income tax. You only need about 80. Well, they got $450 million. So they got to set up the IT. They're going to have to set up the programming and all the rest of the stuff. But $450 million seems like a lot of money in order to be able to capture. What was the total amount they said they're going to steal from the high earners that don't deserve it because they don't pay their fair share?
$3 to $4 billion a year.
That's what they assume.
21,000 households, they think. And it's actually about, 467 million, actually total for all processing and everything involved, 557 million.
That's the total amount they need?
Yep.
That seems like a lot.
Salaries, benefits, and office equipment.
Get Iman to go in there and get the chairs. He can get them for free.
Nice.
Wait, it's a recall joke from 4 years ago. It's still funny. There you go. Fine. Rob McKenna is hot on the trail of this thing. You have any sound of anybody fighting this? It's remarkable that they're pushing this. So it would be like, we're going to pass a law that we know that the Washington Supreme Court has already ruled on. We know that the people of Washington have said, I think 9 times, no, we don't want an income tax. And they're still doing it anyway. That's wild, right? Because you would think that, in order to do that, you have to say that we don't respect the law. We don't really hold the Washington State Supreme Court in very high regard because we want to take this thing to them. It's insulting. You're taking it to them, and you're expecting them to go, well, guys, we've already ruled on this thing back in 1933, and we know it's gone before the voters before. Why are you bringing this? Well, I guess they were thinking, well, it wouldn't be brought by anybody, that nobody would challenge it. But this thing is rolling, and it is moving. So approximately 5:30 last night, after 24-hour debate on the House floor, Washington first income tax over 100 years was passed into law. Bob Ferguson signed it. That was from...
This is from that last debate.
Right, last debate they had, right? Then the conservative Joshua Penner and Jim Walsh followed all the way to the bitter end on the thing, trying to block it. That didn't help. Ultimately, the quote-unquote fair share. Oh, here we go.
We are asking the 21,000 wealthiest Washingtonians, that's 0.25% of Washington.
It doesn't matter the percent. You obviously have no concern for the percent, because if you really started to dig in percent of population, we could do percent of population affected by X. You have no problem carving out giant pieces of your budget to help small, tiny percentages. But in this case, it's only a small percentage, so it's not that really big of a deal. Well, to the person who works their ass off in order to earn the money that you are taking from them, it doesn't matter what the percentage of how many were involved. We could do the same thing. That's the why we have the Bill of Rights. It protects the minority from the majority. But it doesn't matter because, let's face it, they didn't pay their fair share.
Washingtonians who are doing the very best.
Why? Why are they doing their very best? Is it just simply some sort of act of God all of a sudden that a golden figure comes down and presses onto their back and a whole bunch of money comes flying out of somewhere? The reason they're doing well is because they probably applied themselves. While somebody else was not working, they were working. When somebody else was not willing to risk the capital, they risked the capital. They might have lost millions and gained millions. They might have employed 10 people and then 15, and then 100, and then 1,500. They might provide income for numbers of families. They might provide goods and services for people that want them. It doesn't just happen. To me, when people that don't earn anything, when people that write the laws that affect the people that earn, these people are the takers. Government does not create wealth. Wealth is created in the private sector. Government takes wealth. Government destroys wealth. That's what these people are doing. That's what this is. This is a destruction of wealth based upon envy and jealousy and ignorance.
Financially, of any of us who currently pay far less to support our shared needs than the poorest among us do.
That's because your sales tax is so high. So if somebody's only making $30,000 a year and you're whacking them with sales tax, a little bit this and a little bit that, and all the people in Seattle that are voting for this levy and that levy because they like this and they like that, oh boy, the poor kids are suffering. Let's keep the libraries open. So you just keep adding more and more and more. That's the taxes that you put in place. Those are the sales taxes. So don't all of a sudden say, well, the poor pay a greater percentage. Yeah, they do pay a greater percentage because you continue to tax them. My last part, is he going to mention fair share? Did he mention it? I'd get those paddles out if he mentioned it.
Our shared needs than the poorest among us do to chip in.
Oh, chip in. Chip in. We're going to fill the gap.
It's going to help feed our people. It's going to...
Feed our people? The government's job is to feed our people? Oh, my God. Oh, you know what? It's not even going to affect me. It's not even going to affect me. No. See? Doesn't no effect anymore. The government's job is to feed our people. Oh, my God, I forgot.
To provide behavioral health. It's going to fill the gaps.
Gaps, right. Gaps created by what? You know, Rick Steves, I met Rick Steves about 10, 15 years ago. Great guy. I mean, I was there the day he came to me and said, hey, I'm going to go give $1 million to the Edmonds Center for the Performing Arts. It was such a great, beautiful little community theater. They do amazing stuff there. It's like a jewel box for culture there in Edmonds. And Rick said to me, I'm going to give out $100,000 a year. This is before the event. And I was like, oh, my God. And the person came over and said, yeah, Rick's going to give $1 million. He's going to give, $100,000 every single year for 10 years. He's going to add up to $1 million. Remarkable. Great guy. I said, you want to make a little speech? Not really. I'll just say a little something. And, of course, he did. And a big round of applause. Great. Good for him. Perfect. Well done. And then I saw that he had it was a piece of Seattle Times?
Yes.
And he's saying that, he's in favor of this. So I looked up. I see, okay, how much does Rick Steves make a year? His little business that he's got there. He's got how many employees? Like 60 employees or something. $120 million revenue. Now that's not saying Rick Steves makes $120 million, but the business that he runs, and it's a great business. He sells books. He gets people to enjoy Europe in a very interesting way. Takes them off the beaten path. And it provides a great product for people that want to be able to see Europe. Good for you, Rick Steves, and for everybody else that's involved in it. You employ a whole bunch of good people there in Edmonds, and that's a wonderful way for people to explore the world. Commend you for that. $120 million gross. I don't know what it ends up being coming down to the bottom. I don't know what he gets. I don't know how he works all that stuff out. But Rick gives a ton of money away. He gives money away to different organizations, supports the Edmonds Center of the Performing Arts, supports there was a sort of a housing project or something he's involved in there as well. He supports this and that. He even adds like an extra, I don't know, $30, I forget the number it is, for CO2 that is admitted for people that are flying around and doing a bunch of stuff. So that's added into the cost of you getting one of his programs. Good for you. Very caring. And you can give money if you'd like right now. Rick knows I'll give it to these nonprofits, and I'll make these nonprofits accountable to the money I'm giving them, and I'll see that they're actually doing something good. He's a good businessman. He understands that. But he also knows that if you take that $1 million that he's giving to the performing arts and give it to the government, he knows he's not going to get the same return. But he could if he wanted to, but he chooses not to because he knows that. But again, you saw Warren Buffett, you see Bill Gates, all these guys that make all this money. Good for you. I'm glad you have it. The reason you have it is because you provide a good service, and we, the people, have made you rich because of your idea. But you could easily give the money. When Buffett was asked, well, why don't you just start and give the money? He said, I'm not going to give the money unless everybody else has to give the money. Because you could write a check to the Treasury right now if you felt like it. But I don't want to do that. But this thing, I can't wait for this thing to go down in flames. Brian Hayward is going to have to throw a whole bunch of money at it. He's going to have to find a bunch of people that support him on this thing because they're going to have to try to fight this. They probably, I'm assuming, won't get the referendum done in time. They're trying to run the clock out on him. He's got to get, 80,000 signatures? Something like that? Is it 80,000 by June 10th? Is it 200?
200 for the referendum.
200,000 for the referendum. Yeah, it needs 450 some or 490 if he wants to do the initiative. So what the Democrats are like, look, let's run the clock out so we can't get the referendum, because that would be cheaper. So let's make him have to spend more money. Plus, he's going to have that thing running at the time that TV and radio are making more money or make enough money, and they fill up their inventory with all of these political ads that are going to be happening. So if somebody wants to fight something, they're going to have to pay top dollar in order to have their ad run. And then you're going to see everybody come out. This is going to be the big thing. Every single ad, more than my wife talking about her butt. It's going to be this. There's going to be pro. They'll show some sad person that needs to be fed by the state, and then they're going to have somebody. Then the other side is going to be the state is going to expand this. It's not going to just hit millionaires. It's going to hit everybody. You're going to see these ads go back and forth and back and forth. It's throughout August, September, October. Everybody's going to be. That's going to be the big battle. Is going to be happening on airwaves, and the money is going to have to be spent in order to answer each one of those ads. And it's going to be a lot of money. So you got to get a lot of people. You know where the money's going to come in from on the other side. It's going to be the unions, because they know they want the money. They want your money so that they can continue to, have money. So they're going to come after the only 1/10 of 1% of whatever the ridiculous number was they threw out there, 25,000 people.
Well, Haywood just tweeted out a couple hours ago that they need to tax at least $5.5 billion of wealth just to break even on the $550 million that they're spending every year to administer it.
Yeah.
And then the cost of whatever the ads they're going to have to run to fight.
Well, the government's not going to pay for those ads. That's going to be the union who'll pay for those ads. Yeah, that's where it is. The whole thing is about those guys. The whole thing. Listen, they want the tax for that reason. And it's amazing. Who was it that said if the citizens were asked today, I think they'd be in favor of it?
That was the Attorney General, Nick Brown.
Nick Brown said that, yeah. What's he basing that on?
Nobody I'm talked to.
Yeah. Remarkable. I know rich people. I'm not a millionaire, but I just, the injustice of this, the injustice of the government just taking this thing and then providing all of these quote unquote services to fill quote unquote these gaps. Really? Is that what we want? And just like in Connecticut when they started in 1991, and they said, it's only going to be this amount of people. And then all of a sudden, it was more people and more people. And then everybody was caught up in it. The same thing in 1913 when they established the income tax. Same thing. Just, it's not going to affect you and not going to affect you. And now everybody's got it. Why? Because it always grows. It never shrinks. It never, ever shrinks. Have you ever seen a government program go away? No, it's eternal life, as Ronald Reagan says. And this is the beginning. Once they break this thing through, they know that they can just crank that number up. And then where does the money go? And what services are provided? And just continue to add more and more services. What is this one? Oh, Ferguson's signing the historic one?
The King 5 is where they asked if he'd pledge that.
Oh, yeah, this is great. Okay, Bob Ferguson's an attorney. So listen for the question, listen for the answer. And the question is very simple, and is the answer it's a yes or no?
The other big concern is that this is eventually going to be an income tax for all. Are you willing to make a pledge that...
Here's the question. It's a yes or no. Are you willing to make a pledge
that won't happen?
Are you willing to make a pledge that won't happen? That's the question. The answer is a yes or yes, I am. Make it now. Are you willing? No, I'm not. Now listen to this. This is where it gets all. This is this snaky sort of answers. This is the serpentine of lawyers. Watch this.
Are you willing to make a pledge that won't happen?
Okay. Now what a lawyer will do will take it into the past, into the future, move it all around. Here we go. Watch.
I keep making it. People keep asking me about it.
I keep making it. People keep asking me about it. Okay, stop. Now, who was it that King Fonte did this? At that point, you'd say, you keep making it, make it now. You want it on camera, but no, because watch how fast he talks.
That won't happen?
I keep making it. People keep asking me about it. So I
and put a laugh in there.
appreciate the question over again, but it's important.
Yeah, now, see, what you've done is you've taken the question, you boxed it, you've isolated it, and you moved it off your desk. Because now what he's done is he's taken the conversation away from making the pledge. People keep asking me, I keep making it. Thanks for asking. Now we go into this. Now this is the garbage.
Oh, in the legislation, it's actually capped. That's actually in the legislation.
It's capped in the legislation, but we've already known from Senator Peterson that you can easily, it's a pie crust, right? Easily made, easily broken. It's in the legislation. Just come up with another one.
And each year goes up by the amount of inflation. So that to me was really important when we had negotiations around this.
Make the pledge.
So I was very clear. That's where it had to be, the millionaires level. And to be clear to your viewers, that means it only applies to someone after they make their first $1 million in income that year. So you're not taxed on the first $990,000 you make in a year.
You are taxed on that, not in the state of Washington, but you are taxed federally.
For example, and that's why it's very specific to just 1/2% of all Washingtonians. So I feel confident we'll be able to maintain it at that level.
Mm-hmm. So you don't mind screwing 1/2% of Washingtonians, but you certainly will bend over back for 1/2% of Washingtonians with a whole bunch of other garbage that you put in place in order to support your special interest. They get into the percentage stuff. Boy, oh boy. You know what? I need to. Thank you. Oh, come to me, Jesus. Come to me now. Thank you. I'm better now.
I don't know.
You know, still has me upset. Huh. Nate's car's running well. That's the important thing.
Oof. Yes, sir.
You ever need me to jumpstart your car? Just have Andrew put that on me, and then I'll grab hold of the battery. Here's Nate checking traffic.
Yes, sir. I love that car. Everett to Marysville, 15 minutes, still slow from the Snohomish River to 528. Seattle to Everett, 40. Bellevue to Everett, though, at 50 minutes. South 5 now solid from from Northgate into downtown. Linwood to Seattle is a half-hour drive. 40 minutes just to get through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5, and it's bumper to bumper from the Michigan Curve to the Ship Canal Bridge. Both directions of State Route 99 are packed through downtown, through the downtown tunnel in Seattle. Southbound 99, that backup actually starts at the Aurora Bridge. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour. You're solid from 520 all the way to Northeast 44th and Renton. Tacoma to Olympia, we're starting to improve a little bit, down to 45 minutes. 6-mile backup remains, though, between JBLM and DuPont. More slowing between Lacey and Olympia. And we have a new crash in Pacific, northbound 167 approaching Ellingson. It's blocking your toll lane. With the high gas prices, now is the time to buy a hybrid or all-electric at Subaru of Puyallup. Great selection and pricing are at your stress-free dealership, SubaruofPuyallup.com. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
You know, retirement isn't just a date on the calendar. It is a transition, and it deserves a structured plan. At Madrona Financial and CPAs, they guide clients through the 7 steps of a successful retirement. It begins with the most important step. That is your lifestyle plan. What do you want to do? What do you want your life to look like? Where do you want to live? How do you want to spend your time? From there, the process works backwards, aligning your portfolio growth strategy with income security, cash flow planning, your tax strategy, your healthcare decisions, even lifetime gifting and legacy planning. Each step then supports the other. So going through the structured process can bring clarity and confidence as you move through the working years and then into retirement. The best advice is to get in touch with the people that have the best advice. And all I can tell you, that is Madrona Financial and CPAs at 833-673-7373. 833-673-7373. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs.
local news from local voices you trust.
Flights out of Joint Base Lewis McChord.
KIRO News Radio.
Questions about whether the Pentagon is deploying special forces to the Middle East.
The news you depend on.
Gas prices up 25 cents in the last week.
Conversation.
Then all of a sudden, Trump comes out, hey, we're having productive talks.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. According to Puget Sound Express naturalists, the Salish Sea is buzzing right now with Bigg's orcas. These apex predators are on the prowl for seals, sea lions, and porpoises. In the past week alone, tours observed more than half a dozen different orca families in action. Also, migrating sounder gray whales have been feeding in social groupings near Whidbey Island before resuming their journey to Alaska. Plus, humpback whales are starting to arrive as well. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale-watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Puget Sound Express also offers tours out of beautiful Port Townsend on the Olympic Peninsula. Orcas, gray whales, humpbacks, and so much more. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the Warehouse Club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Progressive knows you want to get away, but not like too away. You crave the unknown, but also charcuterie boards with 4 types of cheese. And that's exactly why you bought an RV and bundled it with Progressive, because 24/7 protection is one luxury you'll never have to give up. So go ahead, explore the wilderness, all from the comfort of your zero-gravity camp chair. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
Hey, John, why don't you tell everybody why you started going to Longevity Medical Clinic?
No, I don't want to do that. I can tell you, I started going to Longevity Medical Clinic before I started doing these commercials, but that why I went is not important.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay. I'll tell you. I was a Sammamish City Council member, and whenever they had asked me to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I couldn't make it through the whole thing without crying. I know, it's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm patriotic, but what the heck? So I go into Longevity Medical Clinic, and I explained this to them, that there's something wrong with my hormones or something, and they see the testosterone and the estrogen are all out of balance. We balance all that stuff, and I can do the Pledge of Allegiance without crying. But I've also noticed that I deal with stress a lot better, don't I?
Yes, you're a lot easier to live with because you're getting more sleep, you have more energy, you're better organized, and I'm not helping you look for your car keys every morning.
Right, because now I've taken the steps to take care of my mind and body. I strongly recommend anybody get the free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. House Republicans today blocked an attempt by Democrats to halt President Trump's military campaign in Iran. Washington Representative Emily Randall speaking outside the U.S. Capitol.
We need Speaker Johnson to call us into session. And barring that, I'm calling on my Republican colleagues to show up on their own. to come here and join us and demand action.
Democrats say they will force another war powers vote when Congress returns next week. In the meantime, that 2-week ceasefire is holding as Israel's prime minister now calls for direct negotiations with Lebanon. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
In a new message, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there's no ceasefire in Lebanon, and that Israel will continue striking Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah there with force until his country can restore the security of northern Israel.
Talks between the U.S. and Iran are set for this weekend in Pakistan. U.S. senators just took part in a Q&A with the crew of Artemis 2. Washington's Maria Cantwell wanted to know,
once we go back and land humans on the moon, what are we going to learn from the human eye that the moon rovers couldn't tell us?
Astronaut Victor Glover.
A rover can collect data a lot slower, but the human's going to be able to do it much faster. But then they're also going to come back and tell you how it feels. But physiologically, in a technical and medical sense, but also in an emotional sense, so that we can continue to have that human connection.
The Artemis 2 crew is set to splash down tomorrow night off the coast of San Diego. SeaTac Airport earned some bragging rights. From a new report, it ranks it among the least stressful large airports in the U.S. based on things like parking rates and wait times. SeaTac spokesperson Perry Cooper telling KIRO Radio's Gian Ursulal that construction starting to pay off.
Oh, we are understanding of construction fatigue. And we are around that corner.
Meantime, tomorrow is expected to be the airport's busiest travel day for the spring break week. Cooper says the garage is already packed. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
Alrighty, this one brought to us by the KIRO Newsradio App. Seattle to Everett, give yourself 40 minutes. We're crowded from Shoreline through Linwood. Close to freeway speeds, though. Bellevue to Everett, 50 minutes. Scattered backups from Bellevue all the way to Alderwood. South 5, we're solid from Northgate into downtown still. A little more crowding up in Linwood. All added up, it's a half hour from Linwood to Seattle. 45 minutes now just through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5. It is solid just around the Michigan curve up to the Ship Canal Bridge. Both directions of State Route 99 are packed through the downtown tunnel. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour. We're solid from 520 all the way down into Renton. Tacoma to Olympia is a 45-minute drive. Still got 6 miles of scattered backups between JBL and DuPont and more slowing between Lacey and Olympia. And we're still dealing with this crash in Pacific, northbound 167 just before Ellingson, taking up that toll lane. Text app APP to 888-973-5476 and download the KIRO Newsradio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. To your forecast now. What a week it has been. Gorgeous sunshine out there. Tomorrow just partly cloudy, but still warm. Highs in the upper 60s. Bit of a cool down this weekend with some light rain on Saturday. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Petey, if you would be so kind. I believe there's a wheel that needs to be shown. There it is, right there. Names of all the players are on there, although Aaron has taken his name off the board and Nate's name is off the board. So Joe's on there. And it lands on Joe. Wow.
2 days in a row.
Weird. 5 days in a row for Andrew.
Yeah, that was wild.
Teeny, that's something else.
I'm gonna go with the old, simple, basic Wilcox Family Farm hard-boiled egg.
Right,
Comes in a 2-pack downstairs. Yes, I believe they're $4.99, which seems a little steep, but I get it.
It's not their fault.
Convenient, it's just downstairs. You can pay with a credit card or an app they have. It makes it very convenient. Except if you do pay with the app in front of the guy that stocks the fridge and walk away, he thinks you're stealing it and he will accuse you of stealing.
Right.
To which you say, hey, I'm using the app that you guys built for this system.
Yeah.
He says, no,
Did
I
he
didn't see
bro
you
you?
use it. No, he didn't bro me, but I had to show him the app, but I felt like throwing the eggs in his face. Anyway, Wilcox Family Farm eggs, hard-boiled, 2-pack. They're delicious.
And they're easy to throw. All right. Boy, the newsroom is there's a pall of I don't know what it is. It's not depression necessarily.
It's kind of depressing.
Let's talk some baseball. Golly. An abysmal offensive production, high strikeout rate, weak contact, underperforming stars, injuries, and lack of rallies have really put a giant sword into the side of the Mariners, and it's just blood is pouring out. And the sword has gone in, and it's come out the other side. What's are you, Aaron?
I think you just rounded it up pretty nicely there, John.
All right,
they cannot.
that's it for now.
They're swinging and missing too much, right? They have no slug.
Fellas, we need you to hit the ball.
No power, a lot of swing and miss. They're not on time for the fastball. And, their heavy hitters are not heavy hitting at all. 2, 3, 4. Cal, Julio, Naylor, man.
What do they get, like 3 runs a game?
I think, yeah, it might even be under that. Is that what it is? Yeah, you're probably right, yeah. 0 yesterday.
Well, let's look on the bright side.
Okay.
Nobody's going to pull a hammy running around the bases.
I like that. That's a good way to spin it, John.
Occasionally we get text messages that are clearly meant for Wyman and Bob, but for some reason we
handle them.
We must be a digit off. But Terry in Shoreline text this afternoon. She says, "Please bring Lou Piniella back. He wouldn't put up with any of this team's BS. Dan needs to throw in his hat. Don't have a team meeting. Have a meeting with the fans. Yeah. We will tell you what you're doing wrong and give you 1 inning to fix it. No whining. Just do it or you'll be traded." Right. Terry and No BS Shoreline.
Now, so you think she's sending in to Bob?
Well, it came at about 3:30 p.m. And
all right, I'll answer as Bob. Go screw yourself. What's her name?
Terry and Shoreline.
Yeah, Terry and Shoreline. No, obviously you're sending the wrong one. But Aaron can handle this question.
Yes.
Dan Wilson is not doing his job. Is that what she's saying?
Yeah.
It's 13 games in. I'm not freaking out like a lot of the rest of the newsroom right now.
Yeah, that's really
I don't believe that the meat of the order is going to end the season batting 130.
Oof.
That's crazy. Julio, no home runs.
Wait, you said
Naylor,
yesterday,
no home
I don't
runs.
think they're going to end the season batting 200.
Well, yeah. I believe that the middle of the order will surpass what's known as the Mendoza line. I'm not freaking out. It's April 9th.
This is what I hate about it. And that's the terrible thing. Oh, we were almost there last year. This year. They do the fans react the same way all the time.
I know.
Look, you don't have somebody like Cal Raleigh and Julio who ended the season really well. When he's going to heat up? He heats up in August. You don't take players like that and all of a sudden just have them suck.
Exactly.
Nothing happened to them over the year that they sold their soul to the devil, like in that great Broadway show, Damn Yankees.
Ooh. Yeah. I think right now it's just kind of annoying, I think, more than anything, because there were such high hopes and expectations.
It's a long season.
I know, man. We're like, it's the equivalent of like losing game 1 in the NFL, right? We're like, again, 13 games out of 162. It's not even the end of week 1, come to think of it.
Yeah,
in the NFL. So yeah, I mean, they're, for whatever reason, it's kind of confounding. Like, they're not having any power. Again, Cal only 1 home run, Naylor 0, Julio 0. They're all batting 120 or whatever it is. Yeah. The only bright spots right now are Cole Young, who's been great, and then Brendan Donovan, who's been great on offense, but a little suspect at third base defensively.
Great hair, too.
Great hair. And also, execution has just been kind of ugly. Like, when they do get runners on, they're not making the right plays, and then defensively, they've been sloppy as well. So, again, it's just kind of an annoying, frustrating start to the season, but that's all it is. It's the start.
Isn't the bad defense, though? That's kind of inexcusable because that's the one thing you can control.
I would agree with you. Yeah. This is a team that should make all of the plays. They're not like an elite defensive team, I would argue. You have like JP at short, who's, he's older. Donovan is learning third base, I think, in a lot of ways. Young is a rookie. In the outfield, only Julio is really your kind of gold glove fielder, and then Cal, of course, behind home plate's great. But the rest of the defense isn't fantastic, but if you don't make the easy plays and you throw away plays at the plate like we did yesterday,
oh my God, it was ugly.
Man, it's just it just highlights the bad. I mean, if they were scoring 5-6 runs a game, we wouldn't care.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it's
there's a mindset as well that they call it the flow, and it happens in teams, and coaches have to adjust it, and sometimes they bring in sports psychiatrists. And they say to them, it's like you don't want to get in because your mind will focus on what, like if you were going to hit a golf shot, okay, don't hit it over there. What the brain hears is hit it over there. You end up hitting it over there. There's a great study that was done. They took people that had never played basketball before, and they blindfolded them, and they had a crowd of people, like 10, 15 people standing off the side, and they said to the crowd, now listen, when we point to you, you cheer. So these people are blindfolded. They've never played basketball before. Throw the ball up, miss. Throw it up, miss. Throw it up, miss. And then throw it up again. They point to the crowd. The crowd cheers, right? They shoot again with a blindfold, miss. They throw it again. The crowd cheers again. They do it 2 or 3 times, right? They take the blindfold off this person, and they shoot the ball. They make 3 in a row. So what happens is once the brain is like, oh, I can do this, right? It becomes the mindset of a positive outcome. But if you say, well, don't hit it over there, you hit it over there. So all of a sudden the team starts thinking to themselves, and they say the best athletes have the shortest memory, right? You miss, you get up, bang, you get back up again. What happened just 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes or 20 minutes ago is irrelevant to that pitch coming in, right? Yeah. It's that whole mindset of, no, I don't care what the numbers are. That ball, that's a cookie. I'm going to hit that inside, or I'm going to move on this one, turn on this. It's that mindset of the players. And the younger players have obviously been developing this since the time they were kids. And they don't start to think of themselves as a losing team. And again, this is the beginning of the season. Yeah, but I guess everyone's, we're going to go to the World Series. Well, hang on, you got the next pitch right in front of you.
They have almost the identical record at the start of the season last year that they do this year.
Our pitchers are great.
Sub-2 ERA for the starting pitching against the Rangers. You score 3 or 4 runs, you win all of those games in Texas.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Come on now.
It'll turn.
Tickets still available?
Yeah, I think so. Tomorrow's the Ichiro replica.
That's right.
Night.
Okay.
So I think I'm going Saturday night is my plan.
All right.
And the concessions are good.
About the game. The game. We've got to think about the game. The game. Booze and broads may be great.
Win 3 out of 4 against the Astros.
Yes.
Let's go.
It'll be fine.
That song say booze and broads?
Yeah, it's from damn Yankees. It's back in the 50s when Bruce.
You gotta have heart. All you really need a heart. When the odds are saying you'll never win, that's when the game should start. There it is.
All you really need is heart.
Play the cheeks, Nate.
Thank you, Nathan. Take it, baby.
I just want booze and broads, baby.
Oh.
When your luck is batting 0.
All right. I'm listening to the song. All right. Day and night plumbing, heating, cooling, and electric. Wow, has the update. Here in Seattle, South 5, solid from Northgate into downtown still. It just hasn't really let up in the past hour. Linwood to Seattle will take you a half hour, plus a little more slowing in Linwood to get through as well. So 45 minutes to get through downtown Seattle on northbound I-5. Your bumper-to-bumper backup starts at the Michigan Curve all the way to the Ship Canal Bridge. Both directions of 99 remain packed through the downtown tunnel. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, plan on a half hour on both 529-90. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour commute. It's solid from 520 all the way to the VMAC in Renton. Tacoma to Olympia, we've improved to just 35 minutes. That backup between JBLM and DuPont is thinning out pretty quickly. No longer any backup heading into Olympia. And in Pacific, we just cleared our collision, northbound 167 right before Ellingson Road. This month, when you install a new AC or heat pump, you'll get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, and Electric. Schedule today at dayandnight.net. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Contractors, equipment buyers, operators, this is the big one you've been waiting for. The huge Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, and Vehicles online auction. Presented by the Murphy Auction Company. Bidding is underway now and starts closing at 10 a.m. Thursday, April 16th. On the auction block, 11 excavators, including a 2018 Bobcat E85, 3 wheel loaders featuring a 2018 Cat 966M. There's 6 telehandlers and reach mowers from John Deere and New Holland, and lots more, like 2 Vector trucks, 2 Mack CV713 transfer trucks, 11 dump trucks, and 2 2015 Peterbilt 567 roll-off trucks. And then there's over 300 titled items, including pickup trucks, vans, and SUVs. Preview all items at our location in Marysville, April 14th and 15th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Get online and start bidding now at murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
The first few steps that I took in the morning were pretty painful.
This is Carlos.
I mean, I had been told by multiple orthopedic surgeons that there was no alternative for me.
That wasn't what he wanted to hear. You see, Carlos is an active guy.
I played basketball, and for 3 to 4 days after, my knees would just be so swollen. And now I can play basketball, and there is no swelling. There is no pain in the knees.
No swelling, no pain, because Carlos went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm just happy to be able to be out there. And then knowing that tomorrow I am not going to suffer for this.
What do you say to your friends and family who are in pain?
I say, I had horrible knee pain and stem cells really worked for me. You might want to go to Dr. Wagner, just get a consultation before you have surgery.
Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement, and it's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Charlie Harger here. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be 6 figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
I'm Carolyn Osorio, the host of the Shadow Girls podcast, a deep dive into the Green River Killer investigation, and the only known survivor.
He got both hands on my neck. I couldn't do nothing.
Rebecca did do something. It was her tip that proved pivotal in the arrest and conviction of Gary Ridgway. Join us on April 9th for a true crime event, the behind-the-scenes story of how an imperfect witness finally got her reward. Tickets available right now at nwcave.org.
D.R. Horton's National Red Tag Sales Event starts this Friday, April 10th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Advanced Hair Restoration.
Thank you, Sean, for Advanced Hair Restoration. Let me sit down here. Okay. All right. Hudson. No time for Hudson. Okay. Nope. Here we go.
Okay. Dennis in Seattle says, if you guys ever hosted up a trophy after winning a big game and then all of a sudden it starts slipping out of your hands going towards the ground at that very moment while it was tumbling down, you thought to yourself, what the heck was I thinking?
Exactly.
Did somebody say thick steak? Yummy. Pumpkin seed.
Okay. Okay. Leela in the 425 says, I had closets by design come over. Good.
She sent in a picture of proof, too. RC at Edmonds says, can you please have John welcome Cliff Mass back to the super John Curley Show? Also, we need some more diary excerpts.
Okay. Old man John. My dad grew giant pumpkins. He said he added a gallon of milk each day to the watering.
I hate milk.
Doug in Mount Vernon says,
thank you, Sherry.
It's a wind. It's a storm. It's a super El Nino. Cliff Mass also recommends withholding any 2026 El Nino forecast until summer of 2028.
Okay. Jim Whitaker tribute, Gina in the 360 says, it's a really nice audio essay, one that arrives at a welcoming time. Yes.
Oh, audio essay. Wow.
All right.
Hee Haw Aaron says, such an amazing story. The part that really stuck with me is the part about him living on a boat for a couple of years with his wife. I mean, that says a lot about someone not only willing, but surviving such a trial. I don't know how long I would last living trapped on a boat with my wife, but it would probably be measured in days, not years. Hee Haw.
Plus his 2 kids as well. Mike in Portland says, Jim Whitaker was the founder of REI in 1987. It was founded in 1938. However, he was a full-time employee in 1955 and eventually the CEO. Yes.
Mark in Port Orchard said, Mr. Whitaker spoke at my high school not long after his Everett's climb. He had an old-timey slideshow of his adventure. One slide showed a medical researcher pouring what looked like Tang back and forth between glass beakers. Big surprise, it was the climber's urine. Some odd research about pee at altitudes, it seemed.
And now it is time for the letter of the day.
Teeny, thank you.
Jen in Scottsdale says, I'm not ashamed to admit that I live for the Bucky spot.
Oof.
Today was awesome. Go Nate, love the show.
Bucky's. Taking it out with that.
Bucky's Service Centers, they do your call right. Bucky's Service. Bucky's Service Center's been around for 50 years. That's Bucky's. Here comes Nate. Bucky's. Bucky's.
Oh, yes, Bucky's. Reminds me of the time I went to Bucky's. From the moment I walked in that front door, I was comforted from the big smile of Dana.
Bucky's.
Or was it Dana? Anyway, he's the man behind the counter.
Doesn't matter if it's Dana. Bucky's.
First it was my e-brake.
Bucky's.
Then it was my water pump, and then my sunroof, and then my steering rack and pinion. Finally, my steering...
Rack and pinion
steering arm and ball joint.
That ball joint.
When it came time for the bill, Dana said, son, I got good news and bad news.
Was it Dana or was it Dana?
It might have been Dana.
Dana.
That's all she wrote. Oh, then it really went rolling. Wow. It went crazy. All right, that's it.
Oh, it's just getting good.
I know. All right, I got to go to Kent. Carmen Goer is running for the 43rd. I'm going to go over there and help raise some money for her.
Nice.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Here comes Nate.
Subaru of Puyallup got the update. South 5 to Seattle remains packed from Northgate in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle up to 35 minutes. We went up a bit because we got a little more slowing in Linwood to get through still as well. All right, 45 minutes through downtown Seattle, northbound I-5. Your backup started the Michigan Curve. Northbound 99 is still solid through that downtown tunnel. But just like that, southbound 99 is cleared out. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, it's a half hour on both of our bridge routes. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour. Renton to Puyallup down to 25 minutes, pretty much cleared out. Seattle to Federal Way has cleared out, and we're almost cleared out Tacoma to Olympia at just 35 minutes. With the high gas prices, now is the time to buy a hybrid or all-electric at Subaru of Puyallup. Great selection and pricing are at your stress-free dealership, SubaruofPuyallup.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Congratulations to KIRO News Radio's Charlie Harger and digital content producer Patrick Janasek, nominated for a Northwest Emmy Award for investigative reporting.
It began with a question from the community that seemed almost too stunning to be true.
KIRO News Radio is honored to be the only radio station nominated for the prestigious Emmy Award as part of our commitment to impactful storytelling across every platform, reaching into the communities we serve. On KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Aetna has been my lifesaver. Easy to understand, and if not, customer service is always there to help.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We show up for you, because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. Make the arrival of spring even sweeter with a healthy, relaxing saltwater soak every night. During our Sweet Spring Savings event, you can save up to $3,000 on the hot tub of your dreams. Experience the incredible wellness benefits of natural salt water right in your own backyard. Ends April 14th. Learn more at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. Northwest News.
Nick, you know what my dad always used to say?
Oh, which thing? Let me guess. If you put anything on a hot dog besides mustard, it's un-American?
Okay, that's true. Okay, but no, about the word worry. Remember he used to say about the word worry?
Yes, that it's not a verb, but it actually is.
I know it's a verb, but Nick, his point was nothing comes from worrying. You can sit here and worry about all the news and all about the chaos in the world. You worry about your health, but nothing comes of it. You have to take action.
Right.
Like, for instance, you and I, we go into Longevity Medical Clinic. That's an action. It's about taking that action. Like, people can go to Longevity Medical Clinic, take the free health analysis, and then they can find out how they're aging and the things they can do in order to slow down the process to have a big, full, rich life so you can enjoy a hot dog with whatever you want on it.
And now worry is a verb.
See, there you go. So it all starts for you taking action. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
And this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Lonnie. Lonnie, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
We've been with the same insurance company for over 32 years. And my husband said, come on, let's at least try it. And that was a year on our insurance. They improved it. It cost me less, and it was a higher value. You know, I can't say enough good things about Scott, because everything that he said he'd do, he did.
What do you tell your friends they can expect when they make the call to First Mark?
An easy, profitable, and actually pleasant call. They genuinely are trying to help you, and you can't beat that. We were silly to wait so long. A couple other friends that have called, too, they said, why didn't you tell us about this sooner?
You see, Lonnie did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Jazz Alley invites you to get down with